Well, hello, everybody. What are we?
That's amazing.
That's so good. I didn't even start the show, and you're dying. I love it. Did you like being a werewolf? Did you like being a werewolf?
I did so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, as long as I've started with you, we have 18 people joining us tonight. Let's go ahead and get the chat involved with this. Purple, you and I, we've already started talking. You are our lovely werewolf this evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That was great.
That was awesome. So what's been going on with you, Purple? I see you're doing a live stream tomorrow. What else are you working on?
Yes, got the live stream coming up tomorrow and Friday. Looking forward to those. I've got a video in the works that I'm just editing at the moment, and got a couple of other things kind of lined up as well. But really happy that I managed to get the Northman review out on time because it was giving me a little bit of trouble.
I haven't watched it because I am going to see it on Friday.
Fine. Yes, don't watch it if you don't want spoilers. Absolutely.
Oh, it's good to have you here and glad I could make you laugh.
Yes,
let me move on.
Thank you guys for joining me yesterday as well.
Oh, that was a blast. That was an absolute
thanks for having
blast.
me.
That was a great stream, guys. I love that.
We laughed a lot, and I know a lot of people loved us talking about Thor, and we're going to talk about Thor a little bit more because they wasted no time in claiming Thor for the LGBTQ plus community, if you can believe it or not. Speaking of magnificent Scandinavian men, MV Penis is in the house. How you doing, Max?
He's here.
What's up, guys? He's here. Yeah, I poked my my way through. I poked my head in just to say hi tonight, and
just the tip.
He rose to the occasion.
I rose to the occasion. There you go. I always have to. I have to always come through in a pinch. So I made it work tonight, and but yeah, no, thank you guys for having me as always. Big week. Hit the 1,000 mark on Friday, last Friday, and have just continued to grow. Had a fun stream, or had 2 fun streams on Monday. Been editing a video all day today, so already, I mean, it's only Tuesday and it feels like it's Thursday. But those deep fakes were excellent. I'll just say, are you not entertained, Jeff?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Thank you again for having me, and it's always good to be on here. And I just noticed, speaking of sub counts, Salty, you are dangerously close to that 2K, brother.
Yes, I am. I have been hovering around the 1980s mark for a couple of weeks. I don't check it every day because it's making me crazy. But if somebody can go find a bunch of, I don't know, rope bots to bot me and just give me a false sense of importance, that would be great. But no, thank you. No, but Max, let's not diminish your accomplishment. Reaching 1,000, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of hours sitting in front of that computer wondering if anybody is going to watch what the hell you're doing. Yeah. And just, you earned it. Congratulations. I'm very glad that you're part of the show, that we get to work together, and you're a really good guy. So hail to you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think I was telling you guys earlier, and I'll just reiterate it. But you always get people who tend to congratulate others, and they'll say, "Oh, congrats," or "Great job," or "Great work," or "Good luck with whatever it is." But very few times do you hear genuine sincerity when people say, "You deserve this." And I don't think people hear it a lot. And that's all I've been hearing these past few days. So I'm very, very honored and humbled by the fact that these people that I've been working with for the past 9 months now, people I've met in Vegas, people I've met just here online, like you guys, have continued to show their support, in all ways. And it's just been really, really cool to see that. So thank you again. I will be a broken record because I'll continue to say it, but just know that I mean it. So thank you.
No, I do. Yeah. Hail to you, Max. Moving on to Zaxx, our man in Canada. What's going on?
Well, I don't want to have to rain on Max's parade here, but I'm getting nonstop messages from Flaccid Phoenix, and he says you didn't deserve it, Max, and he wants me to tell you that live on air. And also, he says, whose blank did you have to blank? I can't read the rest of it to get those extra subs. So
Hey, when I was moving furniture over at Gary's house, that wasn't the only thing that we were moving. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you
By the
heard it
way.
here first. That's
Yeah.
gonna get clipped, and not by me. Just there we go.
definitely.
You know, it's funny. Flaccid continues to give me a hard time, but just look at the names, brother. I mean, Flaccid
Yeah.
Penis versus the MV Penis. I mean, we there's no competition, no matter what you say. It's just gaslighting after that. So
He's not even trying, really.
yeah.
Um,
But I am glad to see that people have unsubbed to get him back down to 100. You know, it's humbling. So, I'm kidding.
I think 99 is where he should be at. Just he should see 100, but never quite get there.
Right? Yeah.
I wanted to say too that for some reason Purple Valkyrie and Salty both are close to 2K, but there's no bet going on between the two of you to see who gets there first. What's up with that?
I don't think there's no competition. Whoever
No.
does it, yeah.
No,
But it
No.
is kind of funny because I think we're both literally at the same. I think
Yes.
we're both like at 80 or so. But
yeah,
20, like,
19. I was at 1988 when
exactly.
yeah. And it's like it's yeah, it's I didn't want to say anything because I try and be a gentleman, and I want, you know, whoever crosses the line first, just drag the other person with them. That's all I ask, you know. So it takes a lot. And Max, you talked about this getting stuck in the 800s. It's the same thing when you get to 1800. It's
Yeah.
literally the Bermuda Triangle. It takes forever to hit that next level up to 1,000. So it's crazy.
It is. It's the eights for whatever reason. Yeah, you just get stuck there.
I think maybe it was some weird Jedi mind trick that was played on me. But Purple, I thought you would hit 2K earlier, but I think that was probably your birthday stream that we were on, as opposed to your 2K stream.
It was, yes,
yeah.
yes, very close.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed by the time the second anniversary rolls around.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Well, here's an idea for stakes for you two. You're gonna like this one. If Purple wins, then she gets to be Aragorn in the deepfakes.
Ooh.
I could rock that beard.
You could.
I think
Or-
we have enough. I think we have enough trans representation with Disney. I'm not entirely sure I need to be part of that, but I don't know if that gets you off, Zaxx. Maybe we can make it happen. I don't know.
I'm
I
already
was gonna
finished.
Have a good night, everybody. That was fun. Go ahead, Max.
I was gonna say maybe we could see if we could put her on Thor's face. Not Thor, not Thor Odinson, the real Thor,
Oh.
guys.
The
Once
mighty
we
Thor.
get some
The mighty
footage,
Thor, yeah.
yeah, once we get some footage, absolutely. The app that I use is not everything it could be, but I do the best that I can. But I like the idea of a bet, and let's keep kicking that around. I'd be excited. I can't wait for Purple to hit 2,000, and maybe someday I'll cross it. We'll see. You know, just nose to the grindstone. You know.
You'll be there before you know it. You all will. I'm really proud of everybody at the moment.
I am
Everybody's
too.
working incredibly hard.
Even Zaxx with his multiple Gina Carano videos. What are you like on your 18th one now, Zaxx? I love them. Don't get me wrong, but
Me too.
Yeah, it's day 9 of Junior Corona week over on my channel. And as long as I keep getting subs, I'm probably going to keep doing something like that. It's been kind of it's been interesting to go back and see sort of everything she's done throughout her career and see her kick some butt in Thailand when she was just getting going, and someone who comes from a wealthy family like she does never had to do any of that stuff, but she did, and she did that the right way, and yeah, so I'll take advantage of that now and share it with the world.
cheers. You all in chat have been waiting so patiently. I want to call out my Tavern and Wolf brothers and sisters. Hail to you all. It's fantastic to see you. We have William 101. Hail to you, sir. Punk Waddle, the fastest mod in the West. Hail to you. Thank you for always being here, Punkwaddle. We have Squeakamouts. We have Kaylee. It's fantastic to see you. Who else? We've got our good friend, the Nerdporial Lifeform, is in the channel. Squeakamouse, another channel member. Hail to you. We've got a Dega Outlaw. We've got the lovely Sherry. Fantastic to see you. And then there's some flaccid something. I don't know what that's about in the chat as well. So tonight, before we get going, a very good friend of this channel wrote me today and had some sad news, and wanted to apologize to us on the panel for not being able to make it, which I didn't really understand, but I wrote this person a very heartfelt letter. Lyle Hammock lost a very dear member of his family suddenly, and had a death in the family. His immediate family is fine, but he's going through a hard time right now. He, Mrs. Hammock, little Hammock. So we just wanted to say he won't be here tonight, but I wanted to, out of honor for his friendship and his comments and his participation in this channel from the very beginning, I just wanted to have a moment of silence for Lyle Hammock and the Hammock family before we proceed with the show. So wherever you are, Lyle, Mrs. Hammock, and little Hammock, we are thinking about you. And if you watch this on replay, Lyle, please email me again. So hail to everyone in chat. Thank you all for being here, but let's remember the Hammock family this evening.
Absolutely. Sending them our love.
So as usual, I come up with a whole bunch of things to talk about tonight, and then Ezra Miller has to do something stupid, and so I have to completely redo the show. Did you guys see that? Did you guys know what I'm talking about? Well, we have more information. I don't know if anybody's covering this or not yet. There's more details. Yes, in fact, Ezra Miller is batshit crazy and under the influences of things. So we knew that he was arrested. Now we know that he was arrested after throwing a chair at a woman in the middle of the night in a house that he was staying at, which, as Purple, you brought this up in the green room. Mm-hmm. Are these the same people that he attacked in a bar? What do we think about all this?
I think we're going to get more information, obviously, in the next couple of hours as to what actually happened. But could you imagine if this was the same couple that he was staying with who didn't decide to press charges when he did his last escapade, and now he's thrown a chair and injured a woman?
What do you think about this, Max? I mean, I know you're a big Ezra Miller fan and all, but what do you think about this legacy of they, them mayhem?
It's like the only constant is change, and in this case the only constant is Ezra Miller doing something insane, and it just shows like the Hollywood quote unquote privilege, because this stuff continues to happen with like no repercussions for him, for his friends, for his career. Maybe someone will say something at some point in time, but like because he's part of the alphabet community, I think he kind of has this immunity to him, which is he uses it as weaponization against people to say, well, you're just calling me this, or you're a phobe or an ist, and no, it's just a bad person. And unfortunately people can't see that now because they see through this emotional, clouded vision of, well, we can't discriminate against him, or we can't be mean towards him because of this. And so I don't think he's going to be held accountable for these actions because he uses that shield that he has as a weapon. So it's unfortunate, and we'll continue to see it happen until someone actually holds his feet to the fire.
Yes, but what does that say about us as a society if we are treating people like this with kid gloves? You know, like you say, he is an adult and he needs to be held accountable for his actions, whether he is having a mental breakdown, whether he is under the influence of something that he shouldn't be under the influence of. He is a grown up.
What do you think about this, Zaxx?
Well, I think the biggest surprise here, and this is for real, is that he didn't get his ass kicked before this in Hawaii, because aside from Hawaii being a beautiful place, people in Hawaii can scrap. And so he's been running around hitting women, threatening dudes, breaking into houses, and so far he's unscathed, which is a miracle. And so there's that part of it. The other part of it is, why is no one watching this guy? You've invested how much money in a film for him? Just put him in a room somewhere and shut him up.
Yeah. Or buy him a compound full of whatever drugs and whatever thing that he's into. We'll just say that within, legal and moral reasons, and just let him go crazy in there. I mean, just put him in an Ezra Miller zoo, so he can't get out. Because much like a monkey, when they get out of the cage, they start flinging poo and attacking people. And that's kind of where we're at with Ezra Miller. Is that unfair?
No, at this stage, they're going to be bringing him onto the set dressed as Hannibal Lecter, with the mask and the straitjacket before they release him.
I think, I think, because that's a good point that you made. And because I want to kind of also say that if we were to put him in a, Ezra Miller function where it's like a padded cell or something, it might almost be something that is very sincere. And I don't mean that as a joke, because we were talking about this last night on Yelling at Parked Cars. If there's mental illness to be addressed, and hey, I'm not saying that he does or doesn't, but if there is something to be addressed, hey, he needs to address this as a grown adult. He needs to take care of this stuff and not plaster this on other people, because now he's hurting others, and not only his own career, but now he's like going out there and hurting people. So if he does have an issue, he does need to be put away to have that dealt with, because for his own safety and for the safety of other people. And unfortunately, he's just not looking for the help right now if he does have those mental, issues or breakdowns or whatever. So it is sad to see, but at the same time, it's like, okay, come on, man. This is what, your third instance in the past month?
Yeah. And we do have details, as you can see in this. This is not just somebody like picked up a chair and then they threw it and it was like just in the same room with somebody. This dude allegedly hit a woman with a chair and left 1.5 inch gash in her head. That's what Ezra Miller did. This wasn't just like, No, this was some type of weird spaz out, which we've seen a couple different times. And a hail to Cajun Corey Rourke, who says he's identified as non-binary, which puts him into the LGBTQ plus ZXY. So he's basically untouchable, which has, Max, I agree with you. But this is the problem with intersectionality, which is that if you fit into the victim vector, you get to skate. You are allowed to do whatever you want because you are the oppressed. And it is a horrifying inversion of funhouse mirror reality, which they're pushing in our narratives from Hollywood. And now we can see it being acted out by not just Ezra Miller, but I seem to remember something at the Oscars with somebody too. It's just interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Our moral betters constantly lecturing us.
What I will say, though, is it seems to be backfiring, especially with these Hollywood types, because people are not happy with the way they're behaving and getting away with it. There is a tremendous amount of backlash against Ezra, against Will, the defamation trial that's going on at the moment that people are keeping their eye on. There is a lot of hostility towards these Hollywood types who think that they can get away with doing things that, the rest of us could not do. And the thing with Ezra Miller is, if he is struggling, if he is, having mental issues, where is his support system? Where are his actual friends? Where are his family?
That's such
good
a great
question.
Point. Yeah.
Good question.
I would say too that if you're going to hit a woman in the head with a chair, your name better be Ric Flair, or you're going to jail.
Fair.
I mean, he kind of dresses like him, but I don't think that there's any correlation.
I tell you what,
The same robes, yeah.
Rick Flair would bust him in half with 2 fingers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Of course he
roll him
would.
and smoke him. You know, just that's you know. So I mean that I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this poor lost soul, which God only knows how Hollywood is exploiting him in ways that we don't know about. To me, I think it's pretty obvious what is happening to Ezra Miller and why he's acting that way, but I can't talk about those things on YouTube. What's going to be interesting is the change from Warner Brothers with what's going on, the change of leadership, all of these things we've heard about changing the DCEU, that they're going to bring Batfleck back, that they're going to, you know, where the hell is J.J. Abrams and all this? I mean, this is a swirling cesspool of woke identity politics, pronoun insanity, and we're seeing it play out before our eyes.
Yes, absolutely. Like I say, he has got to the point where he is now a liability because it's not just one big franchise that his name is attached to, it's 2 with Warner Brothers. And with the restructuring, I don't see them keeping him after this.
Yeah. And I certainly hope, well, I'm not even going to say that. I hope something like his, nothing happens to him. I really do mean that. I just hope something that happened to somebody named Jeffrey doesn't happen, because insurance covers things like that. And it's a weird world we live in. So you guys, I'm going to move on to the next topic, but let's take a look at who's in chat tonight. Have I missed anybody? Zaxx, is there anybody you want to call out that I have not reached out to yet?
Well, I want to call it Squeaka Mouse because she says she was called in twice, and I want to give her a third call out. So, hey, Squeaka. We've got Nerdscape here. Steven Ransom is here. We've got Norporeal Lifeforms here. I think you called him out already. We've got new people too. Cajun Corey Rourke, I think, is fairly new. So welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. And Roy
He's all
Cyberpunk.
over, he's all over. He and I were trading messages last night at Max's Man Cave. Solid guy. We got Anomas just showed up too. So hail everybody.
Just kicked in the door, Anonymous.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh.
Cajun's a good dude. He donated one of our biggest donations for last night, and been super, very active on my live stream and active with the chat. So I'm glad to see him here tonight, because I love seeing the crossover events. Seeing guys from Doll's Chat, Salty on Monday show, and then vice versa, like people showing up to Purple. Because thankfully, thanks to you guys introducing me to Purple and her some more of her content, I've been watching her stuff like binge watching, like a Netflix show almost. So so that's been great.
Bless you.
And yeah. And Zaxx, I can only watch the Gina stuff for so long before I have to like take some time, alone for a little bit. No.
What do they call that? Refractory period? Is that what it's called?
He needs to polish that MV penis. I've got a super chat from the Nerdporial Lifeform. Hail to you, brother. It was great being on your, I think it was your anniversary stream or your monetization stream. It's great to see you here. It's a $5 super chat. Says, I haven't been excited for TV in a long time. Better Call Saul final season premiere has brought me hope that good TV is not dead. Hail, salty panel. Well, hail to you, Nerdportal. And I saw that your video was absolutely crushing it today. Let me go ahead and give this video to Nerdportal, and then we will proceed in discussing Better Call Saul. And this is a new video. Hail to you, Nerdporial, and I love the smile on Max's face every time we get a clip of Lord of the Rings. Hail to you, brother. Oh my God, Nico Glock is in the house.
Yay!
$10 super chat from our very good friend, and the Tavern joined last week. Thank you so much, Nico Glock. Says, hi, Wolf family. Sorry I'm late. Nico, you don't have to apologize. Your family, pull up a chair. The bourbon's on the bar. Great to see you. Oh my God. You guys, the floodgates have opened. Let me do this real quick. I have not watched, and don't throw things at me, Better Call Saul. Now, everybody tells me it's this really great show. I know it's connected to Breaking Bad. You guys discuss. Do you guys watch this show? Or are you into this show? Why should I watch it?
I've only watched the first couple of seasons, and I've got to admit, I really enjoyed them. I was a big fan of Breaking Bad. I thought it was a great show. Loved the cast, and I think Better Call Saul is just as good as well. I do need to catch up with it, and going by what we saw last night, I think I definitely need to catch up, because apparently this new season is excellent.
What about
I
you,
watched the
Zaxx?
first episode of it, and I love Breaking Bad, but I have an issue with prequels, and so that's held me back from getting into it because I know where it's going, and so I don't know. I know it's great. I've heard that. I believe it. I love the actor. It's just something about prequels for me are a problem.
Max, have you watched Better Call Saul at all?
So I have not. I've heard fantastic things. Bob Odenkirk, I believe, is the main protagonist, correct? I have seen him on some weird stuff, so I love him for his comedy. And so I thought Better Call Saul was more of a thriller, action thriller, but you guys are going to have to correct me. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have not seen or heard really anything of it. Just other than good things, and I know Nerd Portal is a huge fan. So,
oh, totally, yeah. In that thing, Max. Yeah, I just sent you something in private chat. It looks like it's resolved. So thanks for checking that. Oh my God, William 101. This is one of our Tavern. This is a $20 super chat. You guys are incredible. I am so humbled, and this is the part of the evening where I say it every time. This channel would be nothing without all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your liking the video, your comments on the videos, showing up in chat, making us laugh, derailing the carefully laid plans that I have for this show and making it the wonderful thing that it is. So hail to all of you. William 101, very first person to join my channel. Hail to you, brother. This is a $20 super chat. Says, hail Salty and hail gang. Just wanted to shout out a big thank you for your guys' hard work and dedication on my birthday. Eve, it's almost your birthday, William. One, thoughts and prayers for Lyle's family. Keep up the great work, guys and ladies. Purple, do you want to sing him happy birthday seductively, or am I reinforcing the patriarchy with that?
Sure, I'd be happy to, and thank you so much for the message. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday William 101, happy birthday to you.
Wow. That's a set of pipes on that, lady. Hail to you, William 101. And hail to you. Thank you, Purple, for rolling with my insanity. I owe William 101 a video. I also owe Nico Glock a video. So let's do this one. William 101, again, thank you. Thank you for being part of this channel from the very beginning. This one is one of my favorites, and it's for you.
We travel light. That is handsome orc.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's hunt some orc.
I got a question though for Purple before we move on here. Is there anything you can't do?
I can't dance. I'm a terrible dancer.
I'm gonna need proof of that.
Wait. Tall shelves. She has no idea what's on the top 2 shelves at the grocery store, guys.
This is true. Also, yes, there's a whole anything above like 5'5". It's a whole world that I've never seen. Yes.
You can't go right.
I think that might have been the first happy birthday I've heard on a stream that hasn't made our ears bleed, because anytime I hear it on Friday Night Tights, they lose subscribers. You know, like they legitimately will lose viewers. So we got a talent here. We got to keep this up.
Oh, I know.
If we find out our secret sauce is our happy birthday songs, I mean, this thing could go to the moon and back.
It's true.
I think we should do a karaoke show one of these days, just to have some fun. And just
I agree. Purple and I have talked about this. Let's keep talking about it. And while you're mentioning that, let me do this. I owe Nico Glock a video, and I do not want to let my man Nico down. Joined last week and was absolutely hysterical, mercilessly teasing Snowdub. This one is for you, Nico.
You should have stayed dead.
Oh, I love when Elrond just goes crazy with that sword. It is a beautiful thing. We have Matt Vader in the chat. Matt Vader 74. Great to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. We also have Stephen Ransom. He and I were actually trading, singing the sad songs of the deaths of kings related to the Lord of the Rings today with some pictures we're about to get into. But before we do that, we have the Thad that shouldn't be, a very, very good friend of this channel. He has a channel of his own called Unbearable 73. Give him a look, give him a sub. Great guy. Sends us $5. Says the best cure for Ezra Miller is the discipline and wisdom. Oh God. You guys are killing me. Is the wisdom of the Zaxxentology. Once Ezra is assimilated and moves to Zaxxville, we will get a good Flash movie. How to explain this joke? So we have a Wolfbrothers Twitter and Sisters, a channel member section on Twitter, and somebody said that Zaxx needs to start a cult, and it ended up with Zaxx creating his own compound called Zaxxville, and that's where this joke comes from. Hail to you, the Thad that shouldn't be. Let me give you this one.
I am no man.
Hey,
It's a shame. Go ahead.
Hold on. For a guy like Unbearable 73 or Thad, who's a cult member, he gets his link in the chat. So here we go.
Okay. See how that works? You know, we got the Bhagwan, Zaxx, Rajneesh in the house. But, you know, what I was going to say was it's a shame that Tolkien never wrote strong female characters. That really it wasn't until Payne and McKay came along to write the novel that Tolkien couldn't write, to give us strong female characters that fit appropriately into current year. I woke up this morning and saw another, I think it was the friends or the fans of the Tolkien something. It was a society on Twitter that actually posted a picture, and I did a double take on it because I actually wasn't sure if it was real or not. So this is what we got. We got more pictures and more information on the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. And this, of course, is a character that Tolkien didn't create, that is actually the single mother who falls in love, apparently, or is in a love triangle with Arondir, the diverse elf, who also is not from Tolkien, was created by Payne and McKay. And we have a lovely picture of her in this really beautiful scarlet cloak standing by a stream, looking like she's been really oppressed by capitalism and the patriarchy. You guys, tell me what you thought about this image, this picture.
It's Instagram worthy. That's what I thought. I thought, you know, this is like something somebody would put on their Instagram.
So true.
They're just drip feeding us exciting nuggets at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah. Max, what's your take on this? Go ahead, Zaxx.
It's a vacation photo is what this is. This is not about a show.
Yeah, I saw something that was kind of interesting, and I follow tons of different Lord of the Rings channels on YouTube, and one guy has been very unbiased, been very, very kind of on the fence, and just been very logical about his thinking and about the photos, and has just kind of stayed out of all of this. And he posted these pictures today, the one that we're seeing now, and then the other one with the what looks to be a child, which we got that one is too. A hobbit. I'm not sure.
We got that one. Yep.
Okay. So he posted these two photos, and even he was saying, I'm done. Stop. Because Amazon is posting stuff that knows, like they know that this stuff is going to get people upset again. So they
Yeah.
know that like they're posting the most, one, mundane photos, and two, they're posting the ones of people that no one cares about. Where, like, Alasia posted a great video the other day. Where the hell is Celebrimbor? That's who we want to see, right? We haven't seen or heard a casting or seen a foot. We've seen more hands than we've seen of Celebrimbor, you know, in the past months. And then they give us this. And so I'm just seeing now that even the people who have been so unbiased about this are now coming out of the woodwork saying Amazon needs to stop making this so frustrating, and they need to start either posting things that are going to you know, further the story or further what the fans want, or just don't post anything at all. But they know that this is going to cause more, you know, division. They know it's going to cause more controversy, and so that's the unfortunate thing is they can't. It's like they're a one-trick pony. They can't stop themselves.
I like, we don't care who the hell this is. We have no attachment to who she is. The one thing that we know is that we can check off the boxes that she's there from a narrative perspective, but it has nothing to do with Tolkien. It has nothing to do with the appendices, as far as I can tell, and it's just made up CW level, you know, young adult romance thing with her and the, you know, the short hair shaved elf guy Arondir, who also is non-canon. What I'm really, really interested in is why didn't we get more Princess Diza? Why haven't we gotten a lot of things? Why haven't we gotten any hint
Where
at
are
the big
Harfoots?
bad?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are these ethnically diverse hobbits that they've been talking about, or not hobbits, but, you know, stand-ins for hobbits that they're bringing in, that they were so proud of, that they, you know, we heard all about when this was first talked about, and they seem to have kind of dropped off the map in favor of the elves and the other characters.
You know, the thing is, I remember this verbatim from the Vanity Fair article, was when Payne and McKay says, you know, we know there were no hobbits in the Second Age, but could you imagine a Lord of the Rings project without hobbits? It just felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah, but what the hell does Tolkien know? He didn't know anything. He only, you know, created these worlds and these characters.
Max, what's your take on that? How damaging do you think this Harfoot thing is? I mean, they can play semantic games all they want. They can trot out the they-thems from the University of Glasgow who want to push their intersectional feminism and shame Tolkien and deconstruct toxic whiteness and smash the Western canon and all of that other woke crap. But at the end of the day, what do you think about the whole Tolkien or the whole Hobbit thing?
I think it's another way for them to, well, it's lazy. Just, you know, plain and simple, it's lazy. It does a couple of different, it's multifaceted, right? Because it's a couple of different things. One, it pulls literally just going to look at shiny things and go, oh, guys, hobbits, wow, you know, look, more hobbits, because they remember Hobbit from the movies, do it again. So it does that. So it brings in a fan base that has already been established, so they don't have to work very hard. Two, they can make up kind of whatever they want, because technically the Harfoots, like you were saying, were never in the Second Age. But even more technically, if you really want to get like into the weeds of it, it was just the fact that Tolkien never wrote them in, because the Second Age is so, you know, kind of not convoluted, but is ambiguous. Like it's
Ambiguous, yeah.
Yeah, ambiguous. Thank you. I was going to say ambiguity, and I was like, no, that's not the right word. But because it's kind of narratively not put together as well as his other ages, the screenwriters here can kind of take their own liberty in saying, well, the Harfoots were there, but no one knew that they were there because they were living underground. They were in their hobbit holes, or they didn't know how to write because they were illiterate. And so their history never lived on in the Second Age. until someone found them, which would be like the elves or whatnot.
Do you know what else didn't live on into the next stage? The Harfoots themselves. I would love to see the mental gymnastics that they come up with to explain that one.
I don't know, but I'm sure it ends up with them calling you an istophobe and that you have internalized misogyny. Let me call out a couple people. We've got Sil Abdul in the chat. Hail to you, brother. It's great to see you. Purple, you want to shout him out real quick before I get to this super chat?
Absolutely great to see you, Sil. He had a fantastic show just a little while ago with Mikey talking all about this Ezra Miller nonsense. Very, very interesting stuff. And as you say, this is a story, as we were saying, that is going to just keep escalating, I think.
Yeah, I think this thing with Ezra Miller is not going to end well, and that's a tragedy. Let me get to this. Go ahead, Zaxx. Are you going to say something?
I just, we're still on this topic, and I want to kind of answer or follow up on what Purple said about the Harfoots and that they're not going to be there. And that's my fear. I made a video about that was not popular with some people on Reddit, where how they will explain that is they will explain that's not how it happens now when they keep making more material and they buy all the rights.
Yeah.
So there will still be Harfoots in their new version of Tolkien's world that's already destroyed it. That's what I think they're going to do.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Let me get to the super chat from Lady T. Hail to you. This is for $2. Says, love the Lord of the Rings clips. Thank you. With a shamrock. Well, hail to you, Lady T. It's great to see you. I'm going to try and guess what your favorite clip would be, but based upon your name, let's do this one.
Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid. It gives me courage.
Oh. Yep, that's Tolkien. Pretty sure Payne and McKay didn't need to write anything for him, but that's just me. And for those of you, yes, Max did have to drop out. He's having some connectivity issues. He will be back. This is a $10 super chat from Steve Carruthers. Hail to you. Says, Google Play Rewards money is Google Play Rewards money is yours. Thank you. Here you go. Keep up the good work. Well, hail to you, Steve Carruthers. It's great to see you. I'm going to go ahead and give you something out of the bag of tricks. It's if you have any questions or anything you'd like us to talk about, throw it in chat. We'll throw it up on the screen. Let me give you this one.
Now for wrath, now for ruin, and the Red Dawn!
Thank you again, Steve Carruthers. Yeah, I really don't know what to do with this, but here's the thing. We have seen this character before. Now, obviously, this is not a Tolkien character. This is non-canonical. This is all part of some, and I'm going to say it's some CW level romance. I mean, that's pretty clear. It's just that things even got weirder today with what's coming. Yes. Amazon with the Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to pull that one up now.
And I'd agree with Classic Phoenix. He said there's nothing wrong with this picture, and there isn't. You know, it's a fine picture, but it doesn't say to me that this is a multi-million-dollar production. Okay, this just looks a lady who has done a really great cosplay.
It's
a fine picture. It's a nice photo for sure, but it doesn't show us anything about what they're trying to sell us as a series.
No, what it looks like is it belongs in the Wheel of Time, which I think is troubling on so many levels for those of you that watched Amazon, that sat through it, that have read Robert Jordan's books, of course, watched my reviews, Zaxx, others. It looks like the same generic crap they were throwing out for Wheel of Time. And I, among others, called it out back when the Wheel of Time came out that they're probably going to do the same low-grade generic fantasy look for the Lord of the Rings. I wanted to be wrong, and now here we are. We have perfume ads. It looks like it should be like Dewar, and then we have this character who I don't understand what the hell they're doing. I just don't.
Yes, this one really confused me. I mean, the previous one I can understand, but of all the characters to release an image of, I don't quite get it.
Somebody on Twitter told me it looked like the guy from Napoleon Dynamite, Pedro. And I don't know if that's true, but what's really weird about this is that we're getting all of this iconography. It's like somebody read the Cliff Notes of the Lord of the Rings, and now they're just sticking random Tolkien ideas into a story. You know, this sword looks like oh boy, Max isn't back yet. This sword, we've seen a sword that has looked like this before. You know, in the very opening of the Fellowship of the Ring, when with Isildur in cutting off the hand of Sauron, and then Narsil being shattered. I mean, is it really going to be this stupid and this bad, or am I projecting?
I sincerely hope not, but given everything that they've shown us so far and the way that they've been extremely cagey about what's been released and the very lackluster trailer that we got that was pretty much universally hated, I am inclined to agree, yes.
So we did get more, and I'm going to hop over to this one, which gives it a little more context. This came out late today from Deadline, you know, another trusted entertainment news source. So we know this young man's name. It's Tyro. I'm going to murder this. Mahafanid's character. And they went out of their way to tell us this person's race, where they came from geographically in the real world, but they didn't tell us about the character. Which I'm not even kidding. I mean, like, okay, well, that's great. I'm glad. Good for that person. Well, we don't care about your diversity representation casting. We care about the character. Go ahead, Zaxx.
As long as it's not a suspected shooter, right?
Why do I have you come back week after week? I swear to God, Zaxx.
I got you covered. Don't worry. We're good.
Yep, you guys vamp for me. I got to pull up Max. Max is back.
I'm Canadian.
Get him. Yeah. Does that cover your sins? All right,
it
there
does,
we go.
Yeah, it does.
So, Max, how you doing?
I am doing all right. Sorry guys, I'm trying to just figure out what's going on with the internet, with the camera and everything. So just running through some technical difficulties, but that's always to be expected with the MVP-ness. So
it's true. Performance anxiety. There's a blue pill for that.
What is Tony Stark saying? Avengers. He's like, hey, 1 in 4 people, or something, or one in 4 guys, or whatever. No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah. So this is the character. This is the young man's name who's playing this character. And like I said, this article doesn't tell us anything about who it is. It just recycles a lot of the talking points. Revealed Tuesday during an Amazon Global's all-hands meeting. Boy, that sounds like a lot of fun. Mahafanid will play Theo. We all know Theo, of course. From
Theo, of course, yeah.
It's a Huxtable.
Yeah, Theo. What the... I wonder if it was the writer for Hawaii Five-0 or for Doctor Who or Star Trek Discovery that came up with Theo.
All of the above. It was by committee. Yeah.
So Amazon had their global all-hands meeting today and revealed Theo. They did not reveal any additional character details. However, Amazon did drop images, and we looked at that other one for Bronwyn. And again, that's it. That's all we get. We get this guy's name is Theo, and he happens to be of Iranian descent, and that apparently is supposed to mean
this is a fluff piece from Deadline, then, basically.
Yeah.
like all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
You
could have put that in a tweet and it wouldn't have maxed out the characters.
Yeah.
I just speaking of tweets, I was while I was fixing my internet, my Twitter happened to pop up, and surprisingly, I saw Gary, and he goes, he had the 2 pictures of these characters, and he goes, because the one thing that Tolkien lacked was characters in his, like, in his expansive universe. And he's right. I mean, like, why add more? There's so many to choose from.
Well, #2white, #erase Western canon, #, intersectional feminism. Let me get to this super chat from our good friend Thunder Sensei Win 50. Hail to you, great to see you. So 199 super chat says, Joan of Arc in Middle Earth? Why? I mean, I add it to the list along with this young man here who's holding up a broken sword that looks a lot like Narsil. And Max, you were out on that one, but am I just seeing ghosts, or does this iconography of holding the broken sword in this trashed barn look a lot like Narsil?
I wondered what he was holding at first. I thought maybe it was the top of a staff or something, because I couldn't quite make it out, but I think you're right, it is a broken sword.
I think we saw the hilt of it in the posters, like someone was holding it in one of the promo posters, and everyone thought that it was Narsil, but I mean, that would be a stretch if, we're seeing Narsil at the beginning of the first age and then having it already be broken, because then we're going into the third age. So I don't know what the sword is.
I think it's the same thing that led us to have hobbits in the second age. Could you imagine not having hobbits in Middle Earth? I think it's the same thing here. It's the iconography. It's the Cliff Notes version of Tolkien. The creatives behind this don't care about this lore. They don't care about Tolkien. What they care about is hitting these little, first of all, their diversity representation, intersectional feminist and neo-Marxist talking points. After that, they're going to grab little post-it notes that have broken sword, Hobbit, Shire, and I can guarantee you Gandalf is in this, and Gandalf is probably a multicultural gay woman. I'm positive at this point after what we've seen. Let me go ahead and I owe Thunder Sensei a video. I will give you this one.
We have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. There are other forces at work in this world, Frodo, besides the will of evil.
Hail to you again, Thunder Sensei, and let me get to this from Punk Waddle. Thank you for modding, by the way, brother, and hail to you in East Texas. Says for $2. But did we have Jello in the second age? Lizzo, I don't think is cast in this production.
That was pretty
it's
good.
a Huxtable. It's a Huxtable joke.
Oh, I hated that show. I really did. I like Bill Cosby as a comedian, but I hated that damn show. Punk Waddle, let me go ahead. You guys are crazy. What haven't I done yet? This is a Max favorite. This is for you, brother.
Not a lot. Go hit him!
Thank you again, Punk Waddle. Yeah, I mean, it's normally we talk about Lord of the Rings at the end of the show, but in this case, this stuff that came out today, I just am baffled by it. And you want to talk about somebody who is absolutely pissed off about this? That would be a good friend of this channel, and of course, Max, a troubled green. She says, "It won't let me send a super chat. I can't stay, but I hope you have a lovely evening, everyone." Was I demonetized? No,
that would be my fault, I'm sure.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the first time that happened.
No,
I think maybe it's on your side, Lej, but it's great to see you. Hail to you, a troubled green. If you haven't subscribed, she's doing some absolutely fantastic reviews of her own. Check her out on Bookstagram and Instagram. Lej is awesome. Hail to you.
I'll get her links in the chat right away. But also, we've got Aldan here, who's a Wolfbrother, and Brahma Bull.
Hail to you, Brahma Bull. It was great to see you on with Max last night on Yelling at Parked Cars. And Aldan, brother, it's always great to see you here. Had a great time interviewing you for the Wheel of Time piece that we did. We're going to be doing that maybe in a week or two. This may be a good time to talk about, we have a new show. This is going to stay right here on Tuesday nights at 7:15, but tomorrow night we are premiering the very first Woo Woo show live. Now, it has a new name. It has a new title. And we're going to be covering a whole bunch of topics. It's going to be a shorter show, about an hour, but we're going to be covering paranormal activity, UFOs, all kinds of stuff that is in the news. And I will also be showing some of my own unexplained aerial phenomena. So check us out tomorrow night. The show is called Phenomenal. passport to the paranormal. And of course, Purple and Zaxx will be there. And
Yes.
I'll stay out of it. I don't want to anger any more paranormal. I had my run-ins with them earlier, so I'll let you guys.
Well, you're in California, so that could mean a lot of different things. So I get it, Max. Yeah.
I meet people here who I seriously think are aliens every single day. So I think my days are consumed with too many weirdos as it is. You guys are a reprieve, let me tell you, from the normalcy of California. So yeah, so I get paranormal every day.
I am switching stuff in the background. So I don't know what else to say about this Lord of the Rings stuff. It's just, it is a trickle. And I actually posted something on Twitter, and I only say that because I don't like making it look like I'm ripping off my own jokes. But it literally is like spit drooling out of the corner of a comatose orc. It's just this orc that still isn't dead yet, laying in the fields in the two towers. It's this tiny little bit of spittle. That's the speed at which Amazon is releasing images. We don't even know what the hell the story is about. We don't have anything, and we haven't seen any of the main characters, with the exception of Gladriel, who doesn't look like Gladriel, in any of the materials to $1 billion show. And I said it a couple of months ago, but what if what we got in that Vanity Fair article was as good as it was going to get? What if that was as close as it was going to get to Tolkien, and that's why they gave it to us, and the rest of this is just going to be incomprehensible gibberish?
Corey, I think you might have said this, so I'm stealing your quote right now, but
Okay.
Didn't you say they can't adapt Tolkien?
I think we all did to a certain degree. Tell me the context of your quote, Zaxx.
That they politically can't. Even if they could purchase all the rights and legally do it, politically they will not do it. They don't believe they can.
That is true. That is true. And I'm going to kick that out to Purple and Max as well. Do you think editorially, much like the BBC, Doctor Who, do you think that it's hashtag so problematic, hashtag too white? I mean, do you think that they, if they bought all these rights, that they editorially wouldn't want to make the story because somehow that would be bad because Tolkien Catholic white man? I mean, is that where we're at?
Well, that does seem to be something that there has been kicked around for, pretty much since this show was first announced. And we've seen it, one of the attacks that we've seen time and time again is, we've seen the attacks on Tolkien, and, he was a white guy, he was Catholic, he didn't write female characters, he didn't write very diverse characters, and on and on and on. Nothing to do with the fact that he was writing a story primarily for English people in a English setting, because we didn't actually have our own mythology. We've got mythology borrowed from Norse mythology, from Celts, but England as a country really didn't have anything, and Tolkien wanted to, if not right that wrong, then at least try to bring something to the table that we could be proud of, and we absolutely love his work.
Yeah, I think because what you were saying earlier was, and correct me if I didn't hear you right, but what you were saying is for this Vanity Fair article, or for all the stuff that we've been seeing, if that was the best it got, if that was what it was going to be, as opposed to what Purple is talking about, which is a clear mythology, a clear adaptation from page to film, like from paper to tech, having that crossover. I don't think we're going to get that, nor do I think that, even if, like, best or worst case scenario, that was all we got, was like what Vanity Fair said, there's a part of me that actually would say good, which sounds cynical and which sounds bad, but it would mean that it's so far off the beaten path that even normies of Lord of the Rings would watch it and go, "What the hell is this?" You
Yeah.
know, and even they would start saying, "This is not," because everyone has their moment, right? For 80% of a big portion of the Fellowship, it was the prequels. It was the Star Wars prequels, and then it was Star Trek, and then it was Doctor Who. It was continually these little things that something along the way made someone go, "This doesn't seem right." And I think we're going to see that big resurgence of people clicking in their heads saying, "This doesn't seem right with the Lord of the Rings," if
Yeah.
they don't adapt it correctly, which in my opinion they won't, because like we were saying, it's so, with all the constant obstacles of and mental gymnastics of identity politics, you can't effectively create a mythology, a European mythology. It
No.
just can't be done. And so that's why I think, if it's portrayed poorly, then we won't watch it, and people will start to wake up, and maybe that might be a good thing. I'm not sure, but
I agree. And Kaylee's saying the same thing you are in chat. She says the crazy culture is not into mythology or anything of depth. They can't relate. And I will add to that, and this is my opinion. I think that they were deliberately educated to be that way. And I think the entertainment that we're seeing that lacks the hero's journey, that has these Mary Sue characters, that doesn't have strong male leads, that is rife with intersectionalism, is all part of the same plan. But maybe I have a tinfoil hat. This article I was going to do later in the show, but because we're talking about it in erasing and ignoring Tolkien, I thought it was important to bring forward. So Purple, whenever I go to anything from the UK, of course, I'm going to just dump you in the middle of it. But J.K. Rowling was snubbed by the Platinum Jubilee, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee reading list. Both Harry Potter and Tolkien's Lord of the Rings series were not on the BBC's list of most important books from the Queen of England's 70-year reign. What do you think about that?
I think that if you needed to know if there is an agenda behind this, I think you need look no further than this to have two arguably the most important writers that we have at the moment missed off this list. Tolkien, arguably the father of modern fantasy. He came in at number one when they did the most beloved books list, but he is missed off this list for whatever reason. And then J.K. Rowling, who is considered by some to be problematic, but you cannot deny how important her books have been, especially to children, getting an entire generation reading again because of Harry Potter. I think it's an absolute disgrace that these books are not on the list. And looking over the list of some of the books that are on here, I struggle. I don't know the vast majority of them, and I love to read.
I know. I looked through them as well, and some of the older ones, I knew some of them from reading them for AP or honors English in high school a million years ago when dinosaurs still roamed the earth. But a lot of it looked like it was exactly, these books were cast. Much in the same way that the characters for Lord of the Rings, they're cast based on their external features, not on their internal features.
Yes.
Who wrote Twilight?
You know what? I can't remember.
I should know. I used to go to Forks almost every weekend when I lived out there, but I think I'm blocking it. Way to derail the chat, Zaxx. What the hell are you doing on my show? God. You're off your Ritalin or something like that. So, but no, I mean, Purple, you're right. In that list of books, I mean, there were some important ones, but all of them seem to be very social justice-y, female rights, bash the patriarchy, capitalism bad. Books.
Yes, and it's very across the board from the entire Commonwealth, which is understandable, but I thought people were against the Commonwealth. They didn't like the Queen being the head of the Commonwealth, so I'm a little bit confused.
Max, what did you think about this? I mean, does it shock you that we live in a world where the Queen of England, who I think is the longest reigning monarch in modern history, I could be wrong about that, but I know she's been around for a good long while, that during her 70-year reign, when Tolkien put his books out in the, I think it was, oh, I'm going to lose my nerd card. So The Hobbit came out in the late 30s, and then the 3 books of the Lord of the Rings trilogy came out in the 60s, didn't they? Or was it the 50s? I think it was the early 60s. That couldn't be, is going to show me up. But I don't know how you do this. This just seems, everything is ideological. It's the BBC, so of course, but how can anyone with a straight face ignore the elephant in the room being Tolkien? And how can you ignore the billions of dollars that Rowling generated through books and movies?
You know what's even more sad is the fact that Tolkien, when he was writing, and I think Purple had mentioned this earlier, but he was doing it for England. You know, he was doing it for the people of England. He wanted to give them a semblance of a past, a fantasy, a mythology. Like, he was doing this for his home. And so to have it like left off, it just seems, I'm really not sure. I mean, there have been times in the Marine Corps where you're always taking accountability of your serialized gear or the most important, weapons or items that you have within your reach, within your grasp, that you need as part of your extensive gear list. And if you forget one of those, you're fired. You're out of there. I'm surprised that these were just kind of forgotten by time or by a person. So I'm not sure which one, but it is very shocking.
Super chat.
I'm going to get there. All right. I was letting somebody finish. I know I don't want to interrupt Max's flow. When the MVP-ness is working, you don't interrupt. That's all I'm going to say. This is from Silverlock. This is a 9. I made a blush. This is from Silverlock. This is a $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Says, it drives me crazy. I am sure there are books out there with all the SJW stuff they want, but they won't. That shows it's not about telling their stories. It's about destroying what they don't like. 100% Silverlock. Let me go ahead and give you a video, and then we are going to talk about this because it is true. This has nothing to do with all of their wokerati books and celebrating. I can't even say it without getting struck, but all of the agenda. But they can't have the stained glass windows. They have to throw rocks through those. Let me pick something out for you. Let's do this one for Silverlock. Thank you again, Silverlock, for that $9.99 super chat. You guys, it's true. It seems to me, and I'm just going to speak for myself because I went to therapy, but I look at this. I went. I'm not saying I learned anything, but I went. But it really seems infantile. Developmentally, when you have a 2-year-old that smashes things that may be their favorite toy, when they get angry, they break it. And when they break it, it's your fault that they broke it. And I'm wondering developmentally if some of these people are just kind of stuck in that. But, I said this on a live stream, I think it was a week or 2 ago, but the world did exist before the year 2000, before a lot of these people were born. And it existed before the Dark Ages, when we still had dinosaurs, when I was born in 1970. It was a whole world that existed before all of our enlightened, judgmental, multiple pronoun, communism loving world that we are in now. And that world worked really hard to get by, and it became and advanced where we are today through the nuclear family and through democracy and through capitalism. And now here we are today with the beneficiaries of countless generations of people working hard, saving, scrimping, doing all the things. And now these, in my opinion, spoiled, emotionally stunted children are tearing it all down and putting it on social media to show the whole world how stunning and brave they are. Am I being unfair?
No, not at all. That seems to be, as you say, that is the agenda, and it's not one that they're hiding. It's one that they are telling us this is how it's going to be now, you bigots.
I think Cajun Corey Rourke here has absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
SJWs are miserable people, and they want us to be miserable with them, and they can't stand us being happy, and that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Simple and true.
Yep. Misery loves company, as they say.
Max, can I ask you a question based upon, I know, the study that you did and what your intended career field was before you went in the Marine Corps, but from your theological studies, when you examine something like this, not to put you on the spot, and if you're uncomfortable, just tell me, but do you perceive something in this where the emotionality of this or the lack of this, is there a kind of weird darkness to this from your perspective, or is this, am I just overthinking this and just, seeing ghosts or something?
To the Kale Dare's comment?
Kaylee.
Oh,
That was
Kaylee,
Kaylee.
Sorry. I'm looking at the comment that we have
Oh.
here.
Oh, okay. Well, I was referring to the SJW stuff and what they're doing by denying Tolkien and destroying Western canon. That's what I was referring to, was what they're doing with this wokerati, erasing of what they consider to be problematic things, whether they're buildings or institutions or works of art. Do you perceive a kind of darkness to this, or are they just spoiled children?
The darkness that I sense from this, and I know Razorfist has put this in a better context than I ever could, because he's a wordsmith with some of the things that he says. But one thing that resonated with me, what he was speaking about, was the essentially the erasure of escapism. And I think what that does is it gives people, it doesn't give people hope. It doesn't give people a rest from their, troubled lives or their hardworking lives, which each one of us in this panel has had a job or a circumstance or a relationship that has been difficult but you've had to work at it. You've had to put forth some work ethic. But at the end of the day, once you're done, you want to go home and you want to read a book or you want to watch a nice TV show. But when you don't get that, you get anger, you get outrage, you get frustration, and you get people going out into the world and projecting all of that either on Twitter or to other people out on protests and stuff, and it causes this unrest. So I think what you're saying, Salty, about having this be kind of a dark timeline is absolutely correct when it comes to the erasure of entertainment, because never, and maybe I'm wrong because I am young, but never in my lifetime of 28 years have I seen anything like this where people have wanted to completely politicize everything for the sake of kind of almost getting rid of the things that we enjoy because of some sort of agenda, because of some sort of ideology. And I think it is a little unfortunate that we are having to experience it, but that makes us just fighters, I guess. Because the more we let it happen, the more it will just continue to, it's like a snowball going downhill. It will just pick up speed and keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and that's why we fight. I mean, we don't just get on these channels to hear ourselves talk. At least I don't. Maybe Zaxx does, but we're trying to fight for things that we love. And sitting still. Thank you for pulling. That's the quote I was actually looking for. This is from Brahma Bull. This is my Wolfbrother. says they have already been instituting their ideology in the schools. Now they are using the media and entertainment sectors to reinforce that teaching. That way, seeing it in everything validates it. Bingo, 100%. 100%. And that is why we're getting the entertainment that we are. That's why we're getting Mary Sue's. That's why, you have a 14-year-old girl take the mantle over from Hawkeye. That's why the MCU is the MCU. It's not a conspiracy theory to actually see something happening in front of you and be able to draw a line from point A to point B. What's more complicated is to go from point A and go around in big circles and make up stories as to why you can't go to point B, because it's all there right in front of us. Now, Purple, you're listening to me talk, and I know you think I'm a lunatic half the time. What do you think about that?
No, I absolutely agree with you. I agree with everything what people are saying on the comments and in the chat. And just going through the article that we pulled up, it's actually really heartening to see the comments that have been left on the article itself.
Yeah.
People are calling this out. We've got people saying that this list is trash. Tolkien and Rowling have sold more books than the rest of that list put together. They've enthralled tens of millions of both are well written and still classed as bestsellers. How many of these on the list can say that? None.
Yeah. It's a narrative that is being pushed by the BBC, which is being rejected. Boy, are there any shows out there? Is there a show like that? I'm sure there's multiple shows, but we just had the Doctor Who Lesbians at Sea episode this past weekend that apparently nobody watched. But
Yes.
it smelled like, I'm not even going to say that. That would be
Yes.
a little hardcore. But yeah, I mean, you're right about this. And they're talking about a space was cleared for someone equally as good, but whose work was not well known. There were tricky decisions. They're talking about Rowling. So
Yes.
we're looking at this, and it's yeah, I didn't get to the comments section here.
Yes.
Yeah, these are all the books. Go ahead.
And we've got films like we've got books like The Handmaid's Tale has been included, but yes, don't try to tell me that there isn't agenda behind this.
Yeah, we've got Schindler's List. We've got Whale Rider. I mean, none of these books, other than the ones I mentioned, when you look at the ones from the 70s and 80s, the one light that I saw was they did leave Douglas Adams in there with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I'm wondering how long until people like Douglas Adams will be canceled and being problematic.
Yes, I was surprised The Clockwork Orange is in there as well.
Agreed. Yeah, that's where I was going next. So we've got Anthony Burgess' famous novel. And then the rest of these from the 60s, I know The Interrogation, but I don't know any of the rest of these books from the 60s and 70s at all. And then that brings us to the 50s and 60s. Of course, we've got To Sir with Love, which, of course, Sidney Poitier, I think, won an Academy Award for his portrayal of that faithful adaptation on the big screen. And then once you get down, this would have been about the time that Tolkien's books would have been published. And there's no Tolkien. There's no Tolkien Lord of the Rings at all.
I would say initially that it's surprising about Clockwork Orange, but if you think about it, it's not exactly a hopeful message in that story.
Exactly. It's very not. Yeah.
I'm there. I read. I don't know if anyone in the chat is familiar with the Black Library. It is the hub of all things Warhammer 40,000 and just Warhammer fantasy novels, and it's a UK based company. I would Warhammer would never show up on one of these lists, but like you were saying, Salty, earlier, you're wondering kind of when these other properties are going to get either canceled or someone's going to try and get their hands on them and change them. So far, and I don't want to jinx myself, but Warhammer has kind of slipped under the radar for the most part. Every now and then they'll be in the news, but I'm really hoping that it stays that way. It's one of those things that it's like Conan. Like, how the hell would they be able to do Conan in 2022? You just can't. And that's kind of how I feel about Warhammer 40K for all my Space Marine fans out there. But yeah.
No, I've been hearing that, watching other channels for a number of years, with them saying, Warhammer, and I am glad they have not infiltrated. And I believe there was an article earlier this week, or was it late last week, where they talked about what was it with the manga in the anime from Japan, saying that if we took all of this messaging and all of these ideology and tried to put it in manga and in anime, it wouldn't sell. It would destroy what they're making. And so I really hope that they continue that, because it certainly has not been a winning strategy for DC, Marvel, Disney, Warner Brothers, added to the list, right?
There was, yeah, I forget what the article was, or where I think it was YouTube that I heard it first, and then there were a few articles that followed. But there was a gentleman who was living in Japan who I believe was Japanese, but he started working for one of these manga companies and started inputting some of his own ideology in some of the books. They fired him. Like, they got rid of him so quick, and there was no conversation. They were just like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do this," and they got rid of him from the company. And so it was it's very apparent their intentions, because they want to sell books, and they are after the money. Like, their market, they know exactly who they're selling to, they know exactly how to market, and they're very good at what they do. And so when they saw that, they just totally fired that guy. So we don't have the same cojones here, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's just I was going to go down a rabbit hole tonight looking at Disney and how affiliated they are with the World Economic Fund. We'll save that for another night. That's not exactly a barn burner, but it is interesting to see, and I theorize that a lot of the narratives that we're seeing, I think, are tied to loans, or the financing of loans from these corporations, that because of that in an international financial body and the agenda that they have around resets and narratives, that it makes you wonder if conditions of their loan aren't to perhaps forward some of the agenda items that say they'd like to talk about. But yeah, I don't know. Let me go ahead and bring up something fun and fluffy. You guys are not going to believe this. This is like cute bunnies, and we're going to talk about it here tonight. This actually is exciting.
Palette cleanser. Awesome.
Yeah, it is. Jack's axe from The Shining hits the auction block. There
and
it
Nick
is.
Cage goes bankrupt again.
I know.
Sold. Yes.
Yeah, he's digging in between the sofa cushions of in the back of his car, looking for like a lost single and quarters, just so he can empty his bank account and run around with Jack Nicholson's axe from the famous Stanley Kubrick movie, The Shining. So I don't know about you, $100,000 seems like a lot of money to pay for Jack's axe for this. I don't know. Although it does have blood stains on it. What do you guys think about this?
Yes, that does seem a little bit steep for me. I mean, it's a amazing, collectible to say that you've got this in your collection. I've got the only thing that I've got that is similar. It's a Nightmare on Elm Street glove signed by Robert Englund.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I can appreciate something like this. It would look incredible, but yeah, $100,000 is a little bit steeper. It's a little bit rich for me, but to say you own it, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if
I'd have to have Jack Nicholson deliver it for that price.
Thank you. I was just gonna do that. I was like, I'd have to have a drink. If I could have a drink with Jack Nicholson and have him like do "Here's Johnny," maybe, But,
break down your front door with the axe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I wonder who this is for. Because is this going to be for like major collectors, or is this going to be more for a market of like actors, creator, like people who are already in the industry that want this for their home just to display? Because that price tag is pretty hefty. So I wonder if they're trying to kind of get rid of some of the people who wouldn't even think about looking at this for that price tag, kind of narrow down their audience.
Well, I can tell you who shouldn't buy it, and that's Ezra Miller. let's just get that out of the way right now.
He'll find his own act somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's doing fine with chairs at the moment.
yeah,
He doesn't need an act.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's an iconic moment. It's an iconic film. And that's the real reason I brought this up, was just to talk about it a little bit. Was everybody loves horror movies. Not everybody loves them the same, or the same type of horror movies. But what did you guys think about The Shining? Is that your kind of horror movie? Do you think it is a timeless classic, or do you think it is just, it's all right?
I really like The Shining. I know Stephen King hates Kubrick's take on this because he shifted the focus away from Danny towards Jack. But I love the shift that it took, and I know King eventually made his own version. But there's something really great about this, and I think it's not just the cast, but it's the location as well. You really feel the isolation with that hotel.
Let me shout out a couple of people in the chat. We've got X11 Bravo Comics in the house. Great to see you, brother. And we also had somebody you threw up on the screen. We've got Pop Culture Mechanic is with us. Paul Wolfley, hail to you, brother. If I didn't say that already. We also have, and let me jump on me. Who else? Thank you. Hail to you, Parrot Head. It is great to see all of you in chat. We've been bouncing around between 40 and 30. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. And then we've got Ms. Martin Muses, and we get a lovely rose from the lovely Ms. Martin Muses. It is great to see you. Zaxx, what about you? How do you feel about The Shining? I mean, it's Jack Nicholson, but how do you feel about that as a horror movie?
It took me a while to get it. I think I didn't really enjoy it till I was older, because that wasn't what I was expecting from a horror movie. It's not a slasher flick. And but now I do appreciate it, and there's a lot of people out there who've done deep dive into Kubrick's version of the story, and his visual storytelling, and things that aren't really blatantly shown to the audience but are there in the background if you look, and I find those fascinating as well. So I'm a fan of it now. I wasn't as much then. I thought it was a bit slow, but now I do get it. Yeah.
What about you, Max? Where are you on horror movies? And The Shining in particular.
Real quick, let me just give a shout out to our boy who's in the chat right now.
Hey,
Late Horror Show.
Hey,
that's awesome. Yeah, we were actually talking on Twitter, and this is as good a time to any. You guys, we're gonna have the Late Horror Show on again. We're gonna work out the dates, but I've been I love the Late Horror Show. I listen to those old shows all the time, and I know Max, you do too. But we're gonna have the Late Horror Show on probably, if not next week, then a couple weeks, based on Dino's availability. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And you guys, anybody want to says anything to the Late Show, just give him a shout out now.
Yeah, man. He goes, nice shirt. Hey, you're telling me, man, this fits great. So thank you. And you can't deny that artwork is fantastic. So speaking of merch, if you guys want to go check out Salty's merch too, he's got a little merch store as well. As far as other than shameless plugs though, The Shining really for me was like, it was so much more than a horror film. Like I loved the slashers. I loved things that creeped me out. Like, you know, as a kid, it was Goosebumps. And then as it got older, it got much more mature. And that's when I ran into The Shining, and really like, it almost gives you this unsettling feeling. Whereas like, you know, slashers are more fun. They give you, you know, like kind of little quick scares, jump scares every now and then. But Shining really lets you sit there and stew in this mire of what was going on in his head, what is going on in this, you know, mansion or this hotel. And it really does kind of play into your psychology more than just, it's so much more than just fear, you know? So I think as a film, it is just brilliant. I know that it doesn't do a great adaptation. However, I think as a standalone film, like if they didn't, you know, say it was from this, I think Kubert just knocks it out of the park with something that very few people could do, which is giving you that feeling of existential just anxiety and loneliness and fear and true terror, which is very few people can do.
Yes, I couldn't agree with that more. And there's a fantastic documentary as well, all about the film called Room 237, which really kind of digs into the symbolism that Kubrick put into this film. It's a fascinating watch.
And pretty terrifying to see how many times he had those actors do those scenes over and over and over again.
Yes, he terrorized Shelley Duvall.
It's almost like watching a type of abuse. The poor woman is just constantly being, she's just breaking down. So yeah, he really put his actors through hell, and his cast too, or his cast and crew. I mean, with those types of hours, he wanted perfection, and I think he definitely. I think you could argue that he got what he wanted out of that film. So
yes, he did what he had to do to get the performances. And strangely enough, the little boy who played Danny said he didn't even know he was in a horror movie because he was kept away from everything. It wasn't until years later when he actually watched the film as an adult that he realized, what this film was about, because Kubrick was so careful as to not to expose him to anything that would have been traumatizing at that age.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I wonder if they did that same thing with Anakin in the in the what were those, the prequel the not the
Jar Jar Binks. No child should have to see Jar Jar Binks. Let's just be honest about it.
They're like, yeah, you're talking to your CGI friend, and then he goes back and he watches it and he sees Jar Jar and he's like, that's what I was talking to this whole time.
It was a tennis ball on a stick. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yep, exactly.
So, guys, I've got 1 year after this show and before our show tomorrow. Look into the chairs theory for The Shining. It's one of the interesting theories about the making of the film. So I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to, derail our show, but take a look at it. It's kind of interesting.
The Shine. Yeah. That is a fascinating and spooky one. Yeah. So if you haven't seen The Shining on the big screen, especially in an old spooky theater, you're missing out. To me, I'm not a big horror guy. I like the psychological thrillers. I'm not a slasher guy. That's why things like The Birds and North by Northwest or A Rear Window in The Shining, those things appeal to me because there is nothing more terrifying than your own imagination. It is that sometimes what's in the dark that you can't see is more terrifying than the best CG in the world. And I think The Shining in particular, with the slow burn and watching Jack Nicholson's character slowly lose his mind, while you have the brilliance of Scatman Crothers. I mean, talk about the perfect casting. I know it's not book accurate to Stephen King, but to me, Kubrick made one hell of a spooky and enduring movie. I'll just say that.
You really did, and actually getting to visit that particular hotel is on my bucket list because apparently they do tours, and it does apparently have a strong supernatural presence there. It said, so that's one of the things I would love to do.
I know it's in the movie, but that scene where Jack goes to that bar and there's the bartender who happens to be the same actor who was in Blade Runner, as the head of the Tyrell Corporation. And they have a conversation, and that to me is one of the most terrifying moments ever, is watching Jack Nicholson lose his mind in this either possessed or profoundly malevolent paranormal experience. Oh, that movie scared the hell out of me. So, and hail to the Late Late Show. You know all about scary as hell things. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the Late Late Horror Show. Also, check out Dino's Patreon. It's a way to keep his channel afloat because, of course, YouTube demonetized his channel after I believe it was a couple of years and hundreds of thousands of subscribers. That's the game here, folks. Gone
That's
in a
ridiculous.
second. It is ridiculous. Thank you very much. So I have something else that's ridiculous if you want to Look at that. Because
We're not ridiculous.
I know it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's the wait. I actually skipped over it. Hold on one second. Let me vamp because I'm a professional and I don't make mistakes. And
If
like
you
I
guys
just did.
If you guys
Go ahead.
do want to see something ridiculous, which is actually, well, I say ridiculous, but I actually really like the film. Jack Nicholson. I almost said Nicholas because I'm learning from you, Salty. Jack Nicholson in the 1994 film Wolf, where he becomes a werewolf.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is
Good
so
film.
much fun.
When they're
It
at the
is
urinals,
great.
when they're
Yeah,
at the urinals,
mhm.
yes.
So because you were saying you were talking about like Jack Nicholson losing his mind and blah blah and talking to the
Yeah.
bartender, and I was like, I've seen him lose his mind before, and I'm pretty sure it was Wolf. But great,
No, that
great.
was
I had to look it up.
Michelle Pfeiffer. That I saw that movie in the theater. That's how old I was, and it was a darn good movie. And yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I love Jack Nicholson. Yeah, he's one of the favorite Jokers. Yeah, I think he's just a great actor.
I agree. You know who's not? I guess speaking of lunatics and people losing their minds, and not in a good way. Oh, look at that huge ad the minute I open it up. This comes to us from the Daily Wire. And if you thought that April Fool's was past, you are wrong. I know Purple, Max, Zaxx, when I wake up every day, I often think to myself, I can't wait until one of my favorite cult films from the 80s, 70s, 90s, maybe the early aughts, gets taken and turned into an ideological tool, say for trans representation or LGBTQ plus rights or to promote communism. I can't wait for another production like that. And I didn't have to wait for this one. We are getting a remake of the classic timeless Fight Club, only it will be girl power. It will be gay girl power Fight Club.
Wow.
Tell me what you think about this, you guys.
Well, I'd first just like to say I think this is a little bigoted. The article says LGBT. Where's the QIA plus, guys?
You're right.
I know.
I'm
First,
sick.
I know.
I'm tired of having this conversation. Why are we leaving out the other letters? It's extremely frustrating. So I don't think this article is taking this seriously. So I'm glad that we can at least have
It's
a
not.
discussion about.
I agree.
this,
I mean, we're talking about the most marginalized of the marginalized above the marginalized here. And what do? They marginalize them even more.
Ugh.
Could we get an all-female remake of 12 Angry Men and it'll just be the Discovery Writers Group?
Yeah.
Great film, by the way. Great poll.
Yeah.
Purple. That's another.
Why
great
not do an all-girls Ghostbusters?
Oh,
You know what? That's a
yeah.
good idea. You'd think
Yeah.
somebody would have jumped on that.
You'd think so.
You know what's funny is that they literally had this same conversation in a writer's room somewhere in 2015 or 2014. They literally said, "That's a good idea," and
then they said-
everyone nodded their heads and they said, "Yep."
And they said, don't even bother with a script. We'll just let them do what they want. Improvise.
Yeah, just put the camera somewhere near them. Just point it, in the general direction, and just
Yeah.
let them do their thing. They're professionals. They're funny, right? They can improvise.
Yeah, we've got 4 of the funniest women comedians. They can go with it.
Yeah. It's going to work great.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
What could
Oh,
go
God.
wrong? Oh, God, don't know who you are, but I see Texas and gotta watch. Well, hail to you, Fireflux. I am here in the Highland Lakes region. Thanks for stopping by. We talk about pulp culture and how crazy Hollyweird is. Speaking about how crazy Hollyweird is, let's get into a little bit of the details. So this LGBTQ plus QIA XYZ remake will be of the classic cult film Fight Club. And they're not going to stop there. They're also going to do the romantic comedy favorite. I've never seen it. My Best Friend's Wedding. Now, these are both going to be gay forward movies, and they're going to inject current day woke culture into these films. It's of note to know that Cindy Crawford, if you remember her from the 80s, a lot of guys my age remember her from the 80s, she has a daughter by the name of Kaya Gerber, will star in. So they're going to call this remake of Fight Club Bottoms. Well, I guess that tells us
this could
everything
be
we need to know.
incredibly problematic for them. I don't think they thought this through, because the highest level of domestic violence actually comes from lesbians.
Yeah. Bottoms. So
oh god,
why didn't they call it Butch and Dom? That's I don't know. Bottom seems more of a. Never mind.
So
yeah. So the studio describes this remake of Fight Club as the lesbian version.
Oh, God.
Hey, stop laughing so I can lecture you guys. Listen. This movie is not made for you, but if you don't see it, if you guys don't see this movie, you're a bigot.
Yeah.
But also remember, it's not made for you though. Just to reiterate. Yeah.
Just you better watch it.
Don't.
I tell you, won't have meatloaf in, so I'm out.
Yeah. I tell you what, I don't like it, so I probably shouldn't watch it, right? I definitely shouldn't talk about it too.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. But also, if you don't support it, then you are part of the problem. Just you're actively against this if you don't watch it. But don't watch it because it's not made for you.
Peace.
Yeah, mic drop later.
Yes, and don't you dare talk about it on Twitter. Stay in your lane. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So this movie's being did by Emma Siegelman, who I don't know where the hell she is, but for MGM's Orion Pictures, and the movie centers on, you're not going to believe this, two queer, unpopular girls who start a fight club in their senior year of high school to impress and have sex with cheerleaders.
I'm not.
Oh my god!
I didn't get to go to an American school, but aren't cheerleaders usually having sex with the football players?
Indeed. And while there were a lot of fantasies that were indulged in during teenage years involving multiple cheerleaders, I would say that this movie is, I hate to say it, fetishization like we see. And what's crazy to me is it really seems to demean and kind of turn into a joke, if not a stereotype, the very lifestyle that they seem to say that shouldn't be stereotyped and turned into a joke. Is that unfair? Is that istophobic?
It doesn't seem very progressive, does it? To be honest, you say it does seem that they're taking something that's could potentially be a serious film, and they're turning it into, I should say, something that's fetishized. And I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't look like either of these ladies could beat anything up.
No, not only that, but I mean, I don't see any plus size lesbians in this. I see a size 0 and maybe a size 2 or 4. And I'm just wondering, where's the representation of the plus size lesbians? Because that's what this movie really needs to be. It needs to be plus size lesbians having a fight club to have sex with size 0 cheerleaders. That's really what this movie is.
Really needs. It's Gina Carano to just come in and clean house.
Yes, agreed.
Bravo.
I like it.
Great point. Because she could. Yeah.
Go ahead, Max. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say she could send some knees. I sent a video to Zaxx the other day, and she was doing UFC at this point in time. She was pretty big. I think it might have been a title fight. I forget. But she knocked this woman out, I think in the second round, with a nasty knee straight to the forehead. And I had never seen
Rosie Sexton.
Yeah. If you guys have watched that, go see the Rosie Sexton video. But I mean, this woman does not get up. Like, they need paramedics and stuff. Yeah. She just lays it into her forehead. My question though too is, well, first of all, Gina would just outshine, outfight. She's more gorgeous than these two women. She is much in better shape than these two women. or I would call these kids. Like these two women do not look like,
Yeah,
you know.
that's why Hollywood is sexualizing them. They look
There you go.
like little girls. Those
Oh
are not
man,
women.
that's right.
But what I would really, because it's only fair, right? Because if Fight Club had what's his name, Brad Pitt, and he's just shredded, right?
Yeah,
Like that was the
yeah.
first time that we really saw Brad Pitt, like when he had a
Yep.
shirt off, and every guy in the 90s was trying to look like Brad Pitt. It's only fair
Absolutely.
that we get that same thing in this film, right? You know, so let's
Yeah.
get Gina in there. Why not?
I mean, look at the arms on the one on the left. I mean, I know it's a supermodel's daughter, and I would never make fun of anybody's. God knows what's going on in that house, but that doesn't look healthy to me. When you look that thin on film, in real life, you are skeletal, and that is just not attractive to someone like me. Let me shout out Wakazishi's Tea House. Gray just had a comment up there.
You're
Gray,
close.
you
You're
trouble.
close.
I was
Yeah.
close enough. Shut up.
Almost.
So, Canadians and your pronunciation. Almost 2K, bro. That's awesome. No, Wakazishi's tea. How was that? Was
Nope.
that close?
No,
All right,
you're
say it.
close.
Say it for me.
Wakazashi's Tea House. And,
Wakazashi's
we-
Tea House.
and Resurrection's here too. 117.
Hey, Resurrection 117 and I were going back and forth on the video I dropped today where we were talking about Tolkien, and when we had Amanda Manethrin on last week, we're going to have him on next week. Boy, I love working with Nathan. Nathan, brother, I hope you're doing well out there. We love having you on the show. But if you guys have not subscribed to Gray's channel, please subscribe.
Good
Nice
save.
sidestep. Yeah.
You caught me. You say the channel
Wakazashi's-
name.
Wakazashi's Tea
Tea
House.
House. This is a running joke for those of you who haven't been here before. Gray does great work. Please subscribe to Gray. And I saw a great comment from Brian's Gate earlier, Zaxx. You want to pull that one up? Let's see. And I don't want to derail it. Go ahead, Purple.
I was going to say, I think we're missing the most fundamental thing about a Fight Club remake. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. So can we just not ever talk about this film again and just pretend it doesn't exist?
Yeah. There's another movie that I had on the sheet for tonight. I don't know if I want to talk about it because I'm just like, everybody's literally made fun of it, and we might brush on it later. But I don't know. I look at these two young women and I go, you know what? I don't see any fighting. I don't see any Fight Club, and I see a lot of really disgusting Hollywood producers fetishizing these women, and I guess I don't understand. I do understand, but God, it's Hollywood is just it's really losing me in many ways.
I got a couple things on this one though, but for you, which is first, they don't have any new ideas. Second, if these two were to fight, you guys, would it be the shortest fight of all time or the longest fight of all time? And in the chat, it's been called out, but Mackenzie Dern, yes, please, let's get her in this movie.
Oh, 10-4. Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Absolutely.
You could do a women's Fight Club, but do a mature woman's Fight Club. Do women in their 30s and not have it be
done.
gay.
It's been done. There's a film called Raise from 2013, which had starred Zoe Ball, who's a stunt woman. It's a fantastic film. Basically, it's a group of women. They get abducted, brought to an underground lair, and they're fought to fight each other whilst people, make bets, and they have to kind of fight to the death. It's a great film.
Yeah, but there's no cheerleader lesbian scene.
True, very true. Yes, that's what I was thinking when I was watching the film. If only there was cheerleader lesbians in this.
You know what this film really needs more of is definitely that. Because like you guys said, like most of these concepts, though they are rehashed versions or reboots or whatever you want to call them, they could be done in a form that's respectful. If we did get something like that, where it's like, Fight Club, but it's an all-female cast, or Ghostbusters, but it's all a female cast, we could see something more meaningful. We could see more depth to the characters or to the struggle that these females have, maybe relationship wise or interpersonal wise and all this stuff. But instead, they would make it about females versus males. It would always be about that constant struggle, and it would be, maybe the ringleader of the fight club is a guy, and he's saying, you'll never be able to fight, you'll never be good enough to do this, and then they have to rise to the occasion and beat him up, blah blah. And it's like that trope is so old, it's now boring and lazy for writers to do that. Not to mention also just very contrived at this point, but we could get something good, but they don't want to write it, nor do they really know how to write it. So that's what we're saying.
I agree. And while you were talking, Max, I was listening, but could you imagine this? I could see this and I'd actually go see this. It would be progressive. It also would be interesting is have Gina Carano take the role that Brad Pitt played and have some really fat, pasty guy, IT guy, take the role of Edward Norton. Do you know what I mean? You could work in these progressive concepts, but it would be organic. It would be real. And I think that it would actually accomplish what they say they want to accomplish. But Max, like you said, I mean, either they're bound by ideology or they're just freaking hacks. You know who somebody is not a hack is our good friend Nico Glock. Is a channel member, is a Tavern. It gives us a $25 super chat. Nico, thank you. Says, is Jolly here? If not, fantastic. F that guy. I love you, Wolf brothers and sisters. Well, Nico, we love you. And Nico, there is something in the mail to you on the way. You should get it in a couple of weeks. Just sign a friendship. So hail to you, Nico. It's great to see you. No, we got rid of Jolly. I think his hands, one of his hands, they put the hands on the wrong hand. So the left side was on the right side, and he's probably having to undergo his surgery again. But when Snowdub drinks and performs surgery, that's definitely not the hospital you want to be in. Let me give you something from the bag of tricks.
You should have stayed dead.
Thank you again, Nico Glock and Zaxx. Yeah, go ahead and run with that because I think it would be a great way to close out the segment on Fight Club.
So Fight Club was released in a certain country that's run by a certain Pooh Bear, and they changed the ending of Fight Club for the release there. And so what they did was, spoiler alert, instead of the big explosions going off and the world coming to an end, it goes to a black screen with a bunch of writing that says the Chinese police shut down the operation and everything was fine.
Yeah, it's true. I saw that. This is real.
Yeah, it's true.
That is the most propaganda-y type finale to anything I've ever heard.
It's pretty bad.
It's almost up there with what happened in November of 2020. It's almost at that level. I completely agree with you.
I mean, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, Max. It's all you. I've got a little bit of lag on my side, so go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. No, I was just gonna say, at least to me, that's what it sounds like. That the Chinese police come in and save everyone, or 'cause it's so interesting the two dynamics. How our police, as seen as literal Satan worshipping evil. Well, actually, they think it's reverse. So they think by worshiping God that they are evil. And so they're like the scum of the earth and they're not saving anyone. But in China, their police force or their government is their God, right? I don't know. So that's interesting that was the ending to that film.
They didn't even film anything. They could have at least filmed something, but no, they just went to black and then a bunch of writing explaining how the ending really happened.
Can you imagine if they did that with all films that they found, problematic? No matter what it was, you just slap that ending on.
Yeah, it's almost as good as what Disney has done to Marvel. It's almost, I think they're going to reach that point where we're too damn lazy. We can't figure out how to end this story. So here's 4 paragraphs about how you need to change your pronouns and become a communist. That's I'm just wondering when we reach that point with Disney Marvel. So, oh, Thunder Sensei, you dear-hearted person. We have a 199 super chat. And I have it queued up because you are a good friend that says this chat needs more Nick Cage. Here you go.
Hell yes.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
Just incidentally piggybacking off that, his new film is out next Friday, and I am so excited for it. It's got Pedro
Yeah.
Pascal in, unfortunately, but you take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had a great conversation, Purple, on your show, and thank you again for the invite. Talking about Pedro Pascal, what was going on with The Last of Us Part 2, which you'll all be happy to know is also not faithful to the source material, because that's important when you do an adaptation, is it doesn't look like the thing you're adapting it from. So I don't even know what else to say about that, but
I really learned a lot from y'all's conversation. I was listening to you guys talk about Pedro and how he's how he claims to be one thing, but he's not actually, and how he actually grew up here in Orange County, and he's got ties with a lot of wealthy family members and stuff like that. So I loved y'all's conversation the other night on that live stream, or the other morning. I will say though, I was a little offended. And I almost said something in the chat, but I didn't. But you guys are going off about he grew. Can you believe he grew up in Orange County?
Oh dear.
And as I'm driving in Orange County, like on my way to or from the gym, and I was like slowly putting the phone down, and I was like, oh, they hate me, don't they? They really do not like the
I'm glad that our subtlety was not lost on you. That was obviously deliberate, Max. Yeah,
exactly.
It makes sense. You played football for the Orange County School for the Performing Arts, right? You have a good football team.
They do. They like instead of football,
You're the entire team.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting because you get a lot of really good like water polo players out here, a lot of good swimmers. Of course, the beach is right here, but we do get some pretty good football players. I mean, look at USC. USC has some good football players, but you're right. Yes, most of the Hollywood, ness comes from Orange County a lot of the time, but there's some good pockets. There's a little pocket here that's pretty nice, but.
I used to do some work for the University of California system, not too far from there. That's all that I'll say. And I stayed in a hotel that was right next to, what is it, Disney? What the hell is out there in California? Disneyland, Disney World? What's in Cali? I always forget.
Yeah, it's Disneyland, and then California Adventure is attached. So they're two separate parks, which is a total, like, don't even get me started.
Yeah.
But you have to pay for both parks, even though they're connected technically. But they have 2 turnstiles that are like a couple feet away from each other. And so you literally you can't go to the other park without going through the turnstile.
Sounds like Disney. Yeah.
Yeah. And paying for the ticket.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to say, for a company that seems to be pushing a lot of neo-Marxism, boy, they sure seem to like capitalism. I don't know what that's about. But my story with that was I'd stay in this hotel and I'd watch all these young families, roll out with their strollers when I was getting up and going to work for the client I was working at the time. And then I'd get back about the same time they did, and they would be sunburned and look like they had just left an artillery barrage. And God knows how many thousands of dollars they spent to go to the Magic Kingdom to look like they had to wait in the Newark airport for 18 hours. It's like, how is any of this fun? I don't understand.
Yes, I've never been to the California one, but I have been to Disney World a few times. And after you've done it once, you kind of learn what to do and what not to do. So take breaks during the middle of the day, go early in the morning, and then come back in the evening.
Yeah, you learn the ins and outs, but yeah, like you said, it's an experience, especially if you're there for the whole day. I mean, like you said, Salty, it takes its toll. It is exhausting to deal with, an amusement park for a day, let alone a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure some of these couples, the way that I saw, there were probably divorce lawyers that were called in the car on the way home after whatever they just went through at that Disney location. Let me get to Taker 610, who's been patiently waiting. Hail to you, brother. It's great to see you, a long supporter of this channel. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Gives us a $5 super chat. Says Salty. And of course, the private chat just popped up. Salty, you need to clip out Treebeard saying there is no curse in Elvish, Entish, or the tongues of men for this treachery, for every new ruined intellectual property. It's funny you say that. I actually tried doing that before this show. The challenge is this Treebeard talks so slow that I would get a copyright claim on the video. So let me play with the speed of that clip, and I will do that because Taker 610, you are absolutely right. That needs to be a go-to. That needs to be on repeat. So hail to you, brother. Let me give you something from the bag of tricks. Let's go ahead and do this one.
Why, Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid. It gives me courage.
Hail to you again, Taker 610. Great idea, and I will take that guidance.
Yes, I love the idea of John Rhys Davies sounding like a chipmunk. Please do that.
I love that scene so much. It is so powerful when you watch the end, when he yells, and that soulful, like to his sap, like his soul is hurt. And all of the other Ents, you see the forest just shifting, and then they all go off together, knowing most of them might not come back. God damn, what a good movie!
It's interesting too because the line "a wizard should know better" really tells you all you need to know, which is we're 2 hours in the stream, so I hope you don't mind if I curse.
Go ahead.
But it really lets you know that Treebeard is saying he done fucked up, at this point. Like a wizard should know better is the simplest line, but it packs such a punch because these two like Ents, which are one of the longest living things in Middle Earth, and wizards, which are also one of the longest living things in Middle Earth, who are there from the beginning, know that this is an unspoken thing to do, and that Treebeard says that he should know better. I'm getting chills right now because
I am too.
The March of the Ents is a great scene.
In that battle scene when they're around the White Tower, and you remember at the opening in Fellowship when Gandalf goes, and it is this tree-lined, beautiful little paradise with these old growth trees, and then you see what has Tolkien called the machine, did to the natural world, and then you see this gash in the earth full of fire and iron and machinery and evil from it. And when they pull the supports on the dam from the waterfall and all of that water comes rushing down, damn, and then there's that willow that's on fire, and we're like, oh, don't let the willow die, and then he dunks his head in the water. And God, I sound like a dork and a nerd. I love that movie. I really do.
Corey, you just want to say gash.
Gash. Yeah, there was a gash. No, we got done talking about Lesbian Fight Club. No more gash.
Okay.
So Nico Glock. So, Nico, I was cleaning out my files. This is a $5 super chat. Says more Nick Cage. Let me take a look, and you guys vamp a little bit. I'm gonna try. Let me see if I've got this thing. Nick Cage, you had brought this up. Purple. What is the name of that? It's the unbearable weight of a something talent. What is it called?
Yeah,
again?
it's the unbearable weight of incredible talents or something like that. It's got a very bizarre title, but I've been watching the trailers, and it just looks like a absolute crazy film. It's Nick Cage basically playing Nick Cage up against Pedro Pascal, and he looks like he's having a blast getting to do this. And I'm really happy for Nick Cage. You know, he's paid off his debts, and he's doing some really good roles again.
Yeah, he just can't buy that axe that we showed from Jack Nicholson. I think $100,000 should probably go to ex-wives and child support, but I'm not the boss of Nick Cage. Speaking of being the boss of Nick Cage, we've got Nico Glock again with the $5 super chat. Brother, I got to tell you, I had to clean out my computer because I a year's worth of videos clogging it up, and I took down the old Nick Cage videos. I will put them back up because I needed to make room. I'm going to give you the B's again, but just because you're my friend and you're a Taveran, I would never do this, but you're Nico Glock and you get what you want.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
I don't understand why the Oscars overlooked that performance. Just so many things Nick Cage has done. That will never be repeated. That's all I'm going to say. Oh my God, Brandon, the anime guy is here. Purple, good friend of yours. I love when you guys have great conversations. Next time Purple is having a conversation with Brandon, the anime guy, you guys in chat, go and check it out. Fantastic show.
Yes.
This is a $5 super chat. This says Thor 4. It's like you're a mind reader. That's where we're going next. Thor 4 will be a hot bullshit. I'm just going to say it. Shit 3 times. Hot panel, Salty, Purple, MVP, and Zaxx. Such great people here working on a video. Make my money. Cheers. Hail to you, Brandon, the anime guy. Purple, did you want to call out Brandon real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon has a fantastic channel. He's one of my moderators. He works incredibly hard, and as I say, I've learned a heck of a lot from anime from him. So congratulations for smashing 1K as well, just like Max has done recently.
Incredible work, Brandon. Brother, that's outstanding.
Dude,
I've
congrats,
watched some
man.
of your streams. I mean, like, his knowledge of anime, I'm blown away. Like, his enthusiasm, too. And that's when you know you have a true fan. This is not people parroting the talking points. We're just true fans, and we love what we love. So, hail to you, and congratulations, Brandon. This one is for you.
We travel light. That is handsome walk.
And
I
there's
didn't mean to
more.
cut you.
There's more.
There's more. There's more.
He is a Wolfbrother.
Oh my
Ooh.
God, Brandon! Thank you so much. Welcome to this fellowship on this channel over here. It means the world to me. I love getting new members. We're gonna add you to our little Twitter chat where you get to learn all about Zax's cult and what he's starting, which I am not affiliated with. Much like Zack Snyder going on Geeks and Gamers, I am not affiliated with a cult started by Zaxx 7. So, hail to you, Brandon. Thank you. And thanks to all my Wolf brothers and sisters, as well as the Taveran. There is a new level for the channel if you're interested in supporting it, and it really does help. We are going to be doing a member stream coming up in the next couple of weeks. Look for communication with me asking for what days and times work best for people. But in the meantime, thank you, Brandon. That's absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, we did talk about Thor, and we did a great job, I thought. I actually rewatched that stream and was laughing my butt off at it because, Purple, you are a magnificent host. You really are. And I'm going to try and pull this thing up.
Oh, I was so happy that they just dropped that on us right before the show. I was like, thank you. This is perfect.
Well, there's so much wrong with Thor 4. I'm trying to figure out which link to go to first. I mean, I wish I was kidding, but let me.
We were laughing in the green room. I was scrambling to change the thumbnail because I had
yesterday that was crazy. That was literally crazy. Well, let's do this one, and this has got video going, and everybody loves video. So let me move this around. Yeah, Thor 4. There's a link I need to pull up at some point in the middle of our conversation. But the LGBTQ plus community is not satisfied just with reclaiming Fight Club and my best friends Redding. They are already saying that Thor is now part of the LGBTQ plus, and that's the wrong link. The LGBTQ plus community, because of that flirty joke.
2S is in there too somewhere also, Corey.
Dude, you know better than
I think 2S. Yeah.
You know better
Hey,
than I.
Clobbering Times. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming. And Roman of the Empire is here too. Hey, guys.
Cheers. Hey, Clobby. Great to have you. And hail to Roman of the Empire. You guys go ahead and shout out your friends if you want.
Yeah, great to see you guys. We've got a fantastic chat in today, and I can see, these shows are just getting bigger and bigger. It's fantastic to see. So welcome, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, great to see you, Klabi. Always a pleasure, my man. And Roman, yeah, I hear that you're hanging out with John, so I'm super glad to hear that you guys have had a drink or two or three or four, from what it sounds like. So yeah, man, thanks for being here. And if you're looking for the donation link, Roman, Salty, our man, is monetized, so you can just go right through YouTube. If you want to go through Mama Susan, though, is there some place that we can donate to you, Salty, or maybe buy some of your merch?
If you'd like to buy my merch, the link is on my channel page masthead, and it's all I put at the lowest possible prices that I could for everybody. So if you want to check it out, I have some really great pint glasses, as a matter of fact. One of them is Lord of the Rings themed. The other one has all of the steps of the hero's journey. And then the third one, I forget because I'm not good at merchandising. Just check out my merch store if you'd like to. Otherwise, I don't have a Stream Elements link because I can barely keep track of what I have going on now. But thank you. In Roman of the Empire, it is great to see you. I love teasing Max mercilessly when he does Man Cave. Great to see you, brother.
It's true. The pictures that we got last week or yesterday. See, that's how long this week already feels.
I know.
You guys made fun of me so bad last night that I feel like we're already into next week.
We do it with love, brother. You know how it is. I know.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I think I was telling you, I have reached legendarium when I'm being memed in real time. Like I've reached peak Chad levels, guys. Like the fact that y'all made memes of me during the show and then I saw them real time on Twitter. Like I don't need to do anything else in life. I've done the Marine Corps. I've been memed in real time. I think I can pretty much say that I've done it all. So yeah, no, I know it's all for in love, and it really it's fun to see when I do get memed. So
those were a hell of a thing to wake up to this morning.
Oh, you're welcome.
No,
you guys. If you're on Twitter, go back and look through last night. I actually did some deep fakes of a very steroided up bodybuilder in a white thong walking on the beach that has Max's face on it. And then also I did some kind of emo haircuts. Also Flaccid Phoenix did as well. But yeah. Speaking of deep fakes, we have the mighty Thor. What's weird about this is again, how the hell is in this Taika Waititi masterpiece? How and why does she have the restored Mjolnir? And why is she now the mighty Thor and not just Jane Foster? Now, I understand the comic book lore, but in this case, how does any of this make sense to you, or how can you objectively, and I'm going to start with Max, how can you wrap your head around this and make it sound believable, like what they're doing makes sense?
That's a good question, brother. So my big contention here is like we knew that we were going to get female Thor, but what I was hoping for is that we'd at least see a redemption story of, because let's be real, Thor has gone through hell and back. We've seen him from the first Thor movie where he is unworthy of his hammer, to the second Thor film, which didn't really do well in theaters, to Thor Ragnarok, where he loses his eye, his hammer, his father, his mother, his kingdom, his home, his people. He has lost almost nearly everything. His brother, Loki. And so they have completely deconstructed the character, even to his core. He loses his physical strength because he gets fat, his mental capacity because he's depressed and he's an alcoholic. We have seen so much of a deconstruction that I was hoping that at least this film would give us some sort of redemption arc for him. I don't know if we're going to get that. We saw a little bit of that where he's like, clanging the chains together and he's trying to work out and everything. And he says he's trying to find himself. But I mean, how many more films are we going to have that happen? And what worries me is that he's going to still be unworthy of his hammer in this film if someone else is wielding it, mainly Jane Foster. And we're going to see that bait and switch again, unfortunately. So it's I really don't know how they're going to do it. Unfortunately, I think the storyline that they'll go with, and I apologize for talking so long, but I think the storyline they'll probably go with is that Jane was more worthy and needed the hammer more than Thor did. That she was battling her maybe cancer. I think they're probably going to go with the cancer run from the comics. And if that's the case, they will say that she needed it more than he did. You've had your time, Thor. Now it's time for her time with the hammer, and that she is more worthy. If they can do it in a way that doesn't disrespect Thor, fine. But if they do it to where he is just the butt of the joke, which is what it looks like they're going to do again, it's going to be a really underwhelming story. So sorry for the long-winded response, but yes.
No,
that's
I wanted your take on that. Yeah, and I've been trying to jump around to this video, and it just looks so stupid. Purple, I know we talked about it, but have you had any more time to reflect? I know that stellar scene with King Valkyrie.
King Valkyrie, yes.
Valkyrie, yeah.
That was the best shot that they could find of Tessa Thompson, I would imagine, that they could use to put in that damn trailer.
They're like, give us what's the most heroic thing that she could be doing right now? Let's get her looking Snarky and just
bored
and just an absolute horrible person.
But that's female empowerment. That's a woman in charge. See, she has been just worn down by the patriarchy, and it's got to be resting bitch face Tessa Thompson, because that's the only speed she plays at. Let me get to this super chat real quick. Then you go, Purple. Sorry, cool. Zaxx is going to stab me to death. So $4.99 super chat says, "Well, I'm sorry I'm late. Lady Thor is the worst thing since Silkies and the Marvel run of that train wreck comic. Hail to you, Roman of the Empire. I'm going to give you a video real quick, and this is appropriate when it comes to ruin."
Now for wrath, now for ruin, and the red dawn.
Thank you again, Roman of the Empire. It's great to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. Purple, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no, not at all. It's like we said yesterday, she's pissed because she's become the patriarchy that she was fighting against. But to kind of piggyback off what Max was saying, I think unfortunately, this is the 4/4 film. He is going to be yet again the joke in his own film. And that's a real shame, because of all the characters in the MCU, Thor seems to have been treated the worst when it comes to this. All the other ones, they had the joking moments, but they all had their, redeeming features where they could be the hero that they were destined to be. Now, every time Thor does that, there's something that knocks him back down, and he's continuously told throughout these films that he is not worthy of being Thor. So what the hell kind of message is that to send to people?
I'm looking at these images, and some of these I didn't look at the other day, but it just looks like trash. This just looks like a petulant teenage boy was given this. And let's be honest, given Taika Waititi's proclivities, in my opinion only, this makes absolute sense. This is somebody who thinks a lot of himself, and he was given a big budget and told that he can do whatever he wants. And what we've got is, oh, look at that. There's the patriarchy in action. Look at all the women on the table.
That's the Discovery Writers Group. Yeah, that's the STD.
Yeah, now we know why Star Trek Discovery sucks, Doctor Who sucks, and the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power is going to suck. Boy, that looks like a lot of fun.
There's your female fight club right there.
Yeah, and there's Stacey Abrams. I'll just fuck this time.
That's actually
my show. I can say that.
Purple. That's actually the the 12 Angry Men cast. they're actually in the room.
They did it.
At the table. They did it. You called it.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. Yeah, they can
Oh my
still
God.
be men, but they're also birthing people. Let's not use gender
Exactly. None of us here are
misgendering.
biologists. Let's not forget. Yes.
Thank you for
You know who's
clarifying.
also not a biologist? It's Nico Glock, good friend of this channel. Hail to you, Taverance, for $10 says, I have no idea what you super nerds are talking about, but I love it. Heart. Well, heart back to you, Nico Glock. Don't worry, kick back, Purple. Send him a little bit of that smooth talking that you use when you talk to Puff.
Oh, thank you, Nico Glock. We love you too, sweetheart. Great to see you as always.
Don't worry, SNUBS will be back when we start talking about Lord of the Rings. It was great to have him on the show last week. That was I just hit him up and he jumped on and it was great fun. So hail to you, Nico Glock. Thank you so much for tormenting him endlessly. And thank you to SNUBS for being such a good sport about it. This one is from the Bag of Tricks for you.
We have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. There are other forces at work in this world, Frodo, besides the will of evil.
Tessa Thompson.
Yes, there is something else I did notice watching this trailer through again. They really didn't focus on any of the really big actors, so we didn't see anything of Christian Bale. We got a very, very brief shot of Russell Crowe as Fat Zeus. It was primarily Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy. So what is this? Is this a Thor film or is this a Guardians film?
Well, we get a love scene here.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm not kidding. Look, you guys think? Wait, no. I'm not kidding. Here we go. Let me show you. This is hot off the presses. This has come out since we were on the show, and I am not just engaging in hyperbole. This is all over the national media now. And wow, do you have a lot of pop-ups? There we go. This is from the New York Post. This was an article written this morning. It says, fans claim Thor is gay as hell after Love and Thunder trailer reveal. Thor is gay as hell.
I've heard that. I've also heard that Chris Pratt is a homophobe.
Yes. So which one is it?
So I don't know anymore. I give up. It's like, at what point, So I did show this trailer to my mom, and I said, give me what you think. And she watched it and she laughed at this moment, because in my opinion, I think these two gentlemen have extremely fantastic chemistry. They're really fun guys to have on screen. They're heroic characters. They're funny. They're good looking. They control the presence on the screen, right? And so for them to do this kind of bit, my mom thought that it was funny. She laughed and she goes, this looks fun.
Yeah.
And then I told her, what if I told you that everyone is calling Chris Pratt, Peter Quill, a homophobe and wanting him to die and calling out his church and saying that he needs to be erased from Hollywood. And she was like, I did not get that whatsoever. And my mom's a normie, but she loves these films. And so it shows the mental, just like cognitive dissonance that you have to be in when watching this to be like, Chris Pratt is a homophobe, or, they're turning Thor gay. It's like, it's meant to, the scene is meant to be Peter Quill looking at his family and saying, these are the people that I love. And Thor being funny about it, or like Thor trying to get in his way or whatever. And it's nothing more. And people look into it like it's some text, some sacred text to look through and like analyze. And it's not there, it's Taika Waititi trying to be funny.
Yes.
So it is kind of interesting to see what people are pulling from a 2-second scene.
Yes, keep your shipping to yourself because I don't want to hear it, quite frankly.
I would agree, and it's. I pulled up another one, this Karina ZZZ with an anime avatar, because if you can't trust the anime avatar, Thor is gay. We won.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. We got a couple of things we got to cover here quick before.
Okay.
I want to actually go back to Max for a minute with his camera when we're done here, because he was showing a Thor comic that I think would look pretty cool. And Resurrection 117 is here. He's in the house, and he sent a $10 super chat and a member chat. And the member chat says he just received his drinking glass. Very nice.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Thank you so
Excellent,
much.
dude.
If I remember right, you got the Lord of the Rings one. So hail to you, brother. Thank you so much. Please take a picture of it on Twitter. I didn't get a sample of that one. I hope you're happy with it. So, and if you're not, that's Zaxx's fault. So thank you for the $10 super chat. Let me give you something from the bag of tricks.
Not a lot. Go hit him!
Thank you again, Resurrection 117. Yeah, I don't want to beat this horse to death, but it is kind of ludicrous. And this is perhaps the first Marvel movie of where it's the obsession with the gender and the trying to find allegory or trans representation or whatever representation there is. What happened to just these being superhero movies? Why did they all suddenly have to contain all of this hidden messaging and coding and all of these things that suddenly are, I don't know, Twitter's just jumping to find meaning in this? Like Max said, it's like they're hunting for the Ark of the Covenant like Indiana Jones. And it's like, maybe it's not that complicated. Maybe it's just a mediocre Thor movie.
Yeah, I was in response to Zach here real quick, just for our chat. If you guys are wondering, this is what gore should look like. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But this is the Thor God of Thunder series by Jason Aaron that is being adapted into the film right now. And these, so I have the full run. I was reading it back in college, and there are about 25 issues, and it was actually really, in my opinion, one of the quintessential Thor series that we've gotten. And so to see gore in that form, and then to see him in these pictures that they've leaked is it's brutal, man. So I don't know where they're going to go with that, but I was just kind of showing off for those of you who are interested in reading the comics for the movie or anything. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the Mighty Thor, Thor God of Thunder by Jason Aaron. The Mighty Thor was the later series with female Thor. So.
Yeah, we talked about that on Purple Stream, where it looked like Voldemort's transitioning younger brother. There was no tentacle, there was no alien aspect to it. It really did look like the English Patient. It looked lazy. It looked like they were phoning it in. I think, Purple, you called that when we spoke. What was it, yesterday?
Yes, and people have said that maybe it's because Christian Bale didn't want to wear a lot of prosthetics. Well, in that case, why did you bother having Christian Bale in that role? If you're not going to make the character at least attempt to look very similar to how he should be depicted in the comics. I mean, we had it with Thanos. He looked fantastic, so why can't you do it with these villains? And it seems to be a running thing with the MCU. They cannot get the villains right, which is, again, why I'm so nervous about Doctor Doom being brought in.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be nervous with, especially looking at, the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness still being reshot and put together as recently as a month ago. Captain Marvel 2 has been delayed. Not that anybody's crying any tears over that, but it's I don't see anything good coming from Marvel anytime soon, and that sucks because I would love to have something good from Marvel. In the meantime, again, one of the most trusted sources of entertainment news you're ever going to find. It's a website called the Mary Sue. They have an article called "Even Taika Waititi and David Jenkins Don't Know Why HBO Hasn't Renewed Our Flag Means Death." Now, for those of you not familiar with this show on HBO Plus, it is, of course, two gay pirates. It is a romantic comedy that was thought up by Taika Now I'm going to ask this to anybody, Purple, Zaxx, anybody in chat. Have you guys seen this gay pirate romantic comedy, Our Flag Means Death?
Honestly, I have not. I heard about it, but I didn't know that that's what it was about. And now that I know what it's about, I'm kind of happy that I haven't watched it, to be honest.
I haven't watched it. I thought about it. I did think about watching it, and I looked and I saw what it was, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. And what bothers me about this kind of stuff, the article implies that there's somehow some kind of bigotry holding back renewing the show and acting like this is like a giant, slap in the face of the LGBTQ community that this pirate show hasn't been renewed yet. But like Stars did a pirate show called Black Sails a few years ago featuring a lead who's a gay pirate. This isn't the first time this has happened. And that was a great show. So this article is a good example of the horrible clickbait journalism we get because the person talks about how they act like they've spoken to Taika Waititi, which I guarantee they haven't. They probably wrote this in their bathroom. They imply that maybe they're dragging their feet on renewing this show for other reasons when this person who wrote this didn't ask anyone at HBO.
Yeah, this is like some delusional middle schooler who's off their meds making up a story because they want to be popular. And I don't often read from articles, but this is such a gem of entertainment journalism. I need to read it to you. Reading these comments by Waititi and Jenkins really took me by surprise. It very much seems they're saying that HBO hasn't even talked to them. It's as if HBO may be ghosting the creative team behind its newest popular series that has truly unprecedented levels of engagement. Even if you think of the phrase, air quotes, HBO executives imagine a bunch of straight, white, conservative men on the top of a Manhattan skyscraper with floor-to-ceiling windows. This is just wearing luxury brand suits and ergonomic chairs, taking puffs of Cuban cigars.
Yeah,
it's like
over the top
Zaxx
visualization for something that doesn't. You could see who those people are. You could Google who they are. You could say their names if you want to. But instead, we're getting this visual from you. Thanks.
Again, I'm sure this person did go to college. I don't know if it was cosmetology or clown to get their degree, but here they are writing for the Mary Sue.
Wakazishi.
It's Wakazishi's. Go ahead, Purple.
No, sir, I was just laughing at you. The idea that they actually went to college for this.
Yeah, no, there's no college here.
No. I have no interest in watching this show, not because I have anything against gay pirates. I like pirates. It's done by Taika Waititi. And for me, I know what I'm going to get from Taika Waititi, and it is lowest common denominator trash. I don't know how else to say it. The fact that, I'm sure this is lovely. You know what this looks like? This would have been a good, 5-minute skit. And suddenly they're trying to string it out into a season. And that's what I don't get. I just don't. So, yeah, I don't understand. Let me. Things are jumping here. I don't have anything else to say. I just brought this up because Taika Waititi is busy ruining our mythos in a minute, baby. While he had all the time to do all the reshoots and recalibration for Thor 4, he also made this gay pirate movie, which obviously is being held back by straight white conservatives at HBO, according to this. I don't know what the pronouns are here at the Mary Sue. So,
this is a ridiculous article, and if I wanted this kind of journalism, I'd watch CNN.
Very good.
I think it's so interesting too, though, because the media has always been more left, correct? So when people say that, it's conservatives that are controlling the narrative or conservatives that are not allowing us to, have representation and diversity in these movies. No. The left has always dominated the media. They have always dominated creative spaces. So, I am not sure where this is all coming from as far as all these conservatives sitting at a table. I don't know. I would figure they're all elsewhere. but not in this space. So
Yeah, I seem to remember Disney talking about how excited they were to keep pushing the narratives that they were to promote a certain thing that didn't really exist until they started promoting it and the levels that they did. But
Mm.
yeah.
And we're seeing this a lot. We're getting stories about gay pirates. We're getting stories about gay cowboys. I think people are just getting sick of this narrative being run constantly.
Okay, we got Polly Latino Slandas in the chat. Says, "Que pasa, kiddos? Hail to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Buenas noches." Yeah, Polly's been doing some great work. His channel has been on fire. He's had some really fantastic actors from some really great productions on his channel. Talk about somebody who has earned his success. Hail to you, Polly. It's great to see you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old the person was who wrote that article, but it's obvious that they're crafting a narrative based upon the toolkit they were given by their recent college graduation, and that seems to tell them that there is this patriarchy that's keeping all of their mediocre, crappy stories from actually seeing the light of day. Oh, and I clicked the wrong link, but I genuinely just do not understand the whole martyrdom complex, but that comes back to intersectional feminism,
And what it's more likely is HBO just didn't want to renew it for whatever reason. They either didn't have faith in it, or they think that the story has already run its course. Like you said, they couldn't get any more story out of this.
Don't worry though, Disney is on the case. If there's one organization that has your child's best interest at heart, that is ideologically neutral and certainly would never push a dangerous fad or trend on young children, it would be Disney. But they're also in the business of self-policing, because what they're doing thank you, Purple. They're also in the business of self-policing, not the groomers that they have, but their content. Their content that they deem problematic. Now, what would possibly be problematic, you say? Well, Tinkerbell.
Oh, God, really?
Really?
And Captain Hook.
Oh.
Now, both of these fictional characters that were created probably, if I'm doing the math right, 60, 70 years ago.
Yep, 1953 this film came out.
They have been allowed to run loose on VHS tapes and then DVDs and now on streaming. And it is time that Disney took firm steps to address these potentially problematic characters from, like you say, the 1953 movie Peter Pan. Because when they were launching their Disney Plus streaming service, which is on life support, let's be honest about it, they needed to note these characters. Let's see. Disney began an extensive review of its film library as it prepared to introduce their Disney Plus streaming service in 2019. As reported in, of course, the most trusty news source ever, the New York Times. As part of the initiative called Stories Matter, Disney added disclaimers to classic movies for containing, air quotes, negative depictions or mistreatment of people in cultures. Now, this Stories Matter team privately flagged certain characters that were potentially problematic and wanted to talk about it internally before they put even more labels on that problematic content. And like we talked about, one of them was Tinkerbell. Why do you think Tinkerbell was problematic?
Is it because they've considered her too feminine? That would be my guess.
Tinkerbell raised concern because she is, air quotes, body conscious and jealous.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, I'm going to die.
Wait, no, and she needs approval, right?
Yes, and she needs the approval of Peter Pan, who's a boy.
Yeah, done.
It reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys have seen that clip, but it's that woman at a panel, and she's like, everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is blah, blah, blah. And we need to call it all out at every point in time. And I'm like, that is so exhausting and such an awful way to look at the world. that
Mhm.
why even exist at that point? And that's what we're seeing here. It's like, yeah, you could find issue with anything and everything, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, what's the grift, man? It's not. I mean, what are they going to do? Go out and get a job? No, man. They have to do the Helgian dialectic, which is to create the problem, offer the solution, which you've already got something planned, and then profit off of it.
Yes,
That's what
this
leftism does. That's what the grievance mill does. Is it monetize fake injustice and grievance? Sorry, Purple. Go ahead.
I said this is absolutely ridiculous. And to be fair, I don't know why they're bothering to cancel these characters now, because didn't Disney already cancel this film because of the depiction of the Native Americans? If I remember, quite a few years ago now, they
That's
kind
right.
of, disassociated themselves from this, very similar to what they did with Song of the South, another film that I actually like. I think it's a great film.
I would agree. I remember watching that movie as a kid, and I never got what they were saying, and I never saw what they were saying. But then again, that's probably my internalized something. I mean, you look at Tinkerbell, and there were countless generations of kids that grew up watching Peter Pan, and it was just a beautiful story about escape and about Neverland and about. It was fun. It was innocent. And I think what you have are some mentally deranged people who see that there's joyful things that are out there that represent values or represent escapism. And maybe we're circling back to that, where they have to do everything they can to disrupt and destroy innocence of children. And especially with Disney, and I got to be real careful here. I think Disney is now in the business of destroying innocence. I really do. And it's going to take a lot to convince me otherwise. That's all I'm going to say. Paul Wolfley says, someone asked her the perfect question. Do you actually believe what you say? They kicked him out. Yeah. This is, it's not just Tinkerbell, by the way. Captain Hook is another potential liability because he could expose Disney to accusations of discrimination or prejudice against individuals with disabilities.
I knew it.
And because he's a villain. Because what is intersectional storytelling? If you are within the victim hierarchy, if you have a disability, you can't be a villain. It's only got to be white, straight Christian men that are villains. But we're just making all this up. It's not like Disney's just telling us and showing us what they're doing.
Yeah, I thought Captain Hook was a fantastic villain. He gets his hand cut off, gets it eaten by a crocodile. What does the man do? He slaps a hook on there and gets on with it.
Yeah. Matt Vader says Disney is nothing but agenda now. I would say on a good day, that's what they are. I think on most days, they're, I got to be real careful. I don't think they have children's best interests at hearts. Were you going to say something, Zaxx?
I was just going to say hi to Vic Rattlehead N in the chat, who's a Wolf brother.
Hail, Vic. It's great to see you. Vic Rattlehead N was the very first super chat I ever got. Hail to you, brother. He's in India. It's great to have you here tonight. Wonderful to see you. Hail to you, brother. We're just going through how absolutely batshit crazy Disney is. And Captain Hook is a liability because he could expose Disney to accusations of discrimination against individuals.
With
disabilities. Sorry.
You had said something earlier about the destruction of innocence, right? About kind of destroying children's innocent thought processes and stuff like that. And the reason why I think that has a lot of validity to it, and the reason why I think it's a little bit more creepy than initially hearing it at first, is that by destroying innocence, you're making these kids grow up way faster and way sooner, which means that you can groom them much easier at a younger age. And I'll stop there. I won't say anything more because I don't want to get your channel, I agree.
Yeah. I agree. No, the other part to this too, and we will talk about this when I can put the words in the right place without having my channel taken out, is I seriously, because these are deep, dark waters. And I don't think Disney likes the fact that a lot of people are calling them what they are. I mean, I quoted this one thing, and it's not my saying, but when people show you who they are, believe them. We need to believe Disney. We do.
I don't want to be the fact checker here, though, for Disney, but Captain Hook was a villain before he lost his hand, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't make him a villain.
That sounds like internalized misogyny or something.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah.
No, and
ableism.
we got
It's
it's ableism, and we've got Squeak a Mouse who is reading ahead on us. Says, "Oh my God, they're going to go after Ursula next. I can see it now. She's an obese villain."
Yeah.
Well. Here we go. In the next paragraph, Disney also flagged.
See, we could do their jobs for them. That's
We
what's
could.
that's what's so interesting is
Yeah.
like I could never walk into an engineer's office and go, "Yep, this is how you need to start doing this stuff." But literally anyone could walk into the offices at Disney and go, "Ursula, fat," we could say fat phobia, Captain Hook, let's call him, ableist or whatever. And it's just you could just start naming stuff off, and because there are no rules and there's no structure,
Yeah.
kind of anything goes.
Perpetual supply for your grievance demand. Just keep pulling batshit ideas out of your batshit ass, and you will never be unemployed. And you can write books about it and give seminars. Disney flagged Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid, saying her dark complexion could be construed as racist, and her flamboyant mannerisms.
Oh my God.
It was based
And
on
her-
man. It was divine. That's what they.
Thank you. And her flamboyant mannerisms could come across as queer-coded and
Oh.
homophobic.
Wow.
This is Disney internally.
May I ask what queer coded means?
No,
do we
you can't ask that.
know? Oh no, you know what? That's actually right, because I have to educate myself. And
Right.
if I ask to have everyone or anyone, this is not a joke. I saw this the other day on it was in one of those conference rooms where they have the PowerPoint playing and they're like, no more white privilege
yeah.
type class seminar
Yeah.
thing. And it had this list of things, and one of the things that was saying, if you're doing one of these steps, you are being this person, or you are being racist or homophobic or whatever. Was do not ask BIPOC, whatever, to inform you. You have to go out and do your research. And if you do ask them, you have to pay them for their time. And I shit you not. And I wish I was joking. But I'll see if I can find it. It was on Memology. I have to quote, or I'll quote Memology because he had posted it. So if anyone wants to go see that, it was on his YouTube the other day. But yeah, no, I wish I asked you, Zaxx, but I need to go look it up now. I'm sorry, guys, I can't ask that. So I have to go be intellectual on my own.
Apology not accepted.
Captain
Fair
Nita.
enough, yep.
Captain Nita. Yeah, and as we've previously talked about, I know I did videos on, this is some of the first videos I did on my channel. Disney launched the streaming services with social justice trigger warnings slapped on its classic movies, and also the Muppets, which I did a video on. Now those problematic movies, those things that have really just kids should never see, include Dumbo, The Swiss Family Robinson, Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier, which I actually own that damn movie because it's freaking good. The original Lady of the Tramp, because these movies contain outdated cultural depictions. God, imagine waking up in the morning with that stick so far and big up your ass that this is what you do. You just exist to find fault and to manufacture supply for grievance demand.
Yes, and I've just had a little bit of a deeper dive into these Disney queer-coded villains, and it's pretty much all of them. So we've got Ursula, we've got Radcliffe from Pocahontas, we've got Jafar, Scar from The Lion King, apparently, Maleficent, Captain Hook. There he is. He's back up on the list.
So he's gay too.
Yep.
So he's gay too.
All of
Okay,
these.
sure.
Yep, all of these.
Sure.
Hades
Sure, why not?
from Hercules. Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog. Ratigan, would you believe, from The Great Mouse Detective.
Are you kidding me?
And Shigo from Kim Possible, according to this this little list put together that I've just found.
But to be fair, real quick, and I think I keep saying that a lot because I have to recognize my privilege. But to be fair, I don't think we guys we are not we don't have a hook hand. We are not 400 pounds plus. So we can't speak on these issues because we are not these things, which is like 0.001% of the population, which is, the trans, disabled, autistic. Help me out. What else can I say? Like when you're
biracial,
yes, thank you.
amputee, mentally ill, developmentally disabled,
yeah.
underprivileged. Yeah, I got a list, brother.
It's
I
like
went to that college. I can roll.
Yeah, it's like that 0.1% of the population, or 0.01% of the population, is saying that if we are not that, we can't speak on it. So then, are you the only one qualified to speak on that? You know what I mean? So it's funny because we are having
Yes.
this conversation, and people would tell us, "Hey, check your privilege. You shouldn't be
Mhm.
talking about
Yeah.
ableism or whatever because you're not disabled." Well,
Well,
I would argue that for combat veterans and stuff like that, they are disabled. So I'm pretty sure they can speak about some of this stuff as well. Maybe even more so than some of these people, but it is quite interesting that we are trying to bring this to light. We're trying to be understanding, knowledgeable, while also crack a few jokes. But to others, we would be seen as appropriating, and we'd be seen as people who shouldn't be talking about this because we don't understand their plight. So I just think it's interesting that that would be the case if someone heard us talking about this.
Yes.
invariably, the people in charge of this seem to be size 2, size 4 white women with blonde hair that seem to somehow
100%.
somehow seem to be self-appointed to be our moral betters and tell us all about the plights of people that they don't live near, they probably didn't go to school with, and certainly don't associate with. And I know that's a broad generality, but it's also, I'll bet $100 true. And now we've got, I don't know what the hell their problem is. There's a lot of things I could say about what I think it would fix it, but I can't say it on this channel. But apparently this is how miserable they are. They need to make the rest of us feel miserable and bad for liking the things that are part of Western canon, just like Tolkien is, just like J.R., just like Rowling, just like Mark Twain. These movies and the Americana, same thing. And I'm sure, Purple, you could pull a bunch of things out from the UK with English culture and English cartoons and English shows that suddenly now these people are telling us, oh, they're bad, we have to take them away. Well, we take them away, sure. Okay, then what? Then what are you going to put in place of it? What you're giving us now? Because what you're giving us now is social engineering and ideology.
It is, absolutely. And do you remember, not too far back in the past when these were just really fun cartoon films that families could enjoy, and people growing up our age had really fond memories of going to the cinema. I remember seeing The Little Mermaid for the first time when I was very young, and it's always been one of my favorite films. And now I find out that Ursula's actually queer coded. Who knew?
Let me get to this super chat from our good friend and Wolfbrother Toxic Man Flutes for $5. Says Max is even sexier behind the scenes. Definitely not queer coded. Thank you, Toxic Man Flu. Go ahead, go ahead, Max.
Thank you, Toxic. Yeah, it was super fun to be on the stream with him last night. He was running, gunning, and running that show, man. It was great to see him in action. He saw me in action behind the scenes, so that's for sure. So that's probably why he's saying that. But no, great to see you, Tox, and I look forward to the next stream.
Yeah, good show, Toxic. I watched last night. You were running a tidy little Keebler tree over there. Cheers. Let me give you something from the bag of tricks.
I am no man.
I think the question always is when is this going to stop? Well, it stops when we say it's going to stop. Just like, how do I say this? Just like that thing that they said started 2 years ago and we needed 10 days to stop.
Yes.
And it didn't stop after 10 days. It
2
went on,
weeks
it went
to
on.
flatten the curve, yes.
And now we've got municipalities here in the United States that are reinstituting it and fighting the not having to do that when you get on a plane. And it's ridiculous. And
I think that it's
it
going to
stops when we
stop.
say it does. Yeah,
I think
go
they're
ahead.
going to stop it on their own eventually, because what they do is they have all these different check boxes in these movies. They want them to be prominent characters, but yet they can't have them do anything that could be seen as negative. So there's no story to tell, except for there's the one white guy who, by the way, can't use an iPhone. It's got to be Android or he can't be a villain. And there's nothing to surprise us anymore. There's no story to tell. There's no tension. There's nothing. Like, look at, I don't want to talk about this too much, but Falcon the Winter Soldier with Carly, the villain, Falcon he wasn't allowed to hit her. So how scary was that fight to watch? You knew how it had to end, right?
Yes.
And so they're ruining their own stories with that stuff.
Sorry, Zaxx. I would also say, how queer-coded are these characters going to be in a certain other country that is notorious for changing the ending of films and centering particular takes on characters as well. But the other thing I think is important, that the best way to tackle this is to make fun of it, like what we're doing. They hate to be laughed at. And this is just the best way.
Yeah. When you engage with them on a rational way, what you're doing is you're trying to use reason to combat emotion. And when you use reason to combat emotion, the person who only has emotion gets more emotional and calls you names. So what do you do to combat emotion? You use emotion. You laugh at them because they're motivated by shame, which is why they call us names and label us. They think that shaming is going to make us see how patriarchal, blah, blah, whatever their bullshit terms are. When you laugh at them and mock them, and not in a passive way, I'm not saying to be aggressive, but don't be passive about it. And then you send them into and their head's going to fly off and explode because it simply doesn't compute. And I wish the world didn't work this way, but it does. And we just got to keep fighting the war with the weapons we have, and we'll do what we can. So. Yeah.
We a couple of the guys on the Yelling at Parked Cars show last night had some great takes, and Comics was even saying, because he works closely with Carrie Smith, who, God bless her, you gotta love Carrie Smith. She is some of her takes are amazing. I love listening to what she has to say. She's a wealth of knowledge, and one of the things that she was saying is exactly that. If you can't fight with facts anymore, because we have done our research. We go on and we find all these different articles, or we talk to people, we go out into the world and we experience these things. Excuse me. And with the facts that we have honed and that we've gathered, and we present those in a very logical and factual manner, they dismiss it by calling you names, which then gaslights you and doesn't get to the actual argument, but then demeans you. And then people start trying to get at that argument, and then people start going, well, I'm not a this or that, when the argument wasn't that to begin with. It's this,
Bingo.
It's the whole gymnastics of them being able to manipulate you through them being emotional. So they've gotten very, very good at this, unfortunately, because we're still playing this fair game of trying to play chess or checkers or whatever by showing facts. And unfortunately, it doesn't really work a lot of the time, because they will just continue to emotionally, combat with these arguments, and it goes nowhere.
Yeah, and I'm going to get to this super chat. I will, but the thing that Carrie Smith is facing is the generation after what I faced, and I'm not saying anybody's better or worse or whatever, but it's the same shit. And what she's suggesting is the only way that we had to battle it back when it was PC culture. Now, the PC culture, all of those kids I went to school with and other professor morons and ideologues that are programming the college kids today. And I remember, and I've shared this story before, I went to a college that went bankrupt, and its motto was we were the boot camp for the revolution. You can look it up. It's real. And I remember having conversations with people like this because I was head of the men's center. and I was doing battle with people from the Women's Center, which was spelled women with a Y, not an E, because women don't need no man in them anyway, no how. And I would try and have these conversations using facts and logic because I wanted to have a dialogue, because I thought, okay, maybe if we understand each other, we can just come to a compromise, or we can come to a live and let live. And I was told 30 years ago, over 30 years ago, in 31 years, we don't care what you think. We don't care what you feel. We just want you to not exist anymore. You are the problem just by existing. And when you understand that we don't want to be their enemy, but they want us to be the enemy, and they want to harm us. They don't want us to exist in whatever way you want to look at it that way. You understand what kind of a fight that we're in, and that nothing is off the table, including destruction of the nuclear family, the attack on innocence in whatever form that is, that is the goal of that is its own end. Let me get to this from a longtime friend of this channel. Vic Rattlehead sends us 200 Indian rupees. Hail to you, brother. Says, I just shudder to think how much money these companies waste hiring all these asinine people for box checking. Box tickings. Check box ticking. Quote, even a nutless monkey could do your job. Tropic of Thunder, 2008. Thank you, Vic Rattlehead. I love that movie. I might watch that after this stream. Let me give you a video real quick out of the bag of tricks. What haven't we done lately? Let's do this one.
You should have stayed dead.
Thank you again, Vic Rattlehead. I know with the time changes, we don't always get to interact with each other, so it means a lot that you were able to make time today. It's great to see you. Thank you for the rupees. We've got Salty Nerd Podcast. He and I were on the phone the other day. It's great to see you, brother. Says you can't be rational with irrational activists. No. I mean, you can be, but then they just end up calling you names because they don't want to hear you anyway. And that's the psycho thing. What do you do with an enemy who, it's just, I don't know what it is. What's your take on this, Purple? You've been really quiet. I don't know how much you've had to drink if you're still awake, but what do you think about this? How have you dealt with these situations when you've dealt with these activists? Have you had people call you out in your own fandom? Because I appreciate some of your takes, because to me, you are a truly strong, independent woman. And I tell me.
Yes, I've been accused of, internal misogyny and all that ridiculousness. What I usually do is, if, facts and logic don't work, ridicule is the next step. And then after that, you just leave them screaming into the void and move on, because there is no arguing with some people. People have this idea in their heads, no matter what it is. 9 times out of 10, you cannot change their minds, particularly if it's on a platform such as Twitter. It's you're wasting your time, really, and there isn't enough time in the day to be engaging with people who do not want discourse. They just want to climb up on their soapbox and shout at you and berate you for whatever it is you believe in, or whatever it is you're railing against.
Sorry, my mute button wasn't working there for a second, or my unmute button. But yeah, no, it's kind of, you guys both hit the nail on the head there, which is that they don't want to resolve anything. Like you're saying, Purple, when they're on Twitter, they just kind of want to, they'll scream into the void. They don't want to actually, because if everything was solved, then they wouldn't have anything to complain about. Like if everything was fixed, there would be nothing left. And what Corey was saying earlier was essentially that they want us as their enemy because they don't want us to exist in the first place. Like they just want us to either die or just kind of like Thanos snap and be poofed away, which is kind of horrid when you think about it. Is like that they would consider human life so fickle that they just don't want people to exist. So it is getting into the psychology of that is very dark, but I think it's people who haven't mature, people who haven't experienced things, who haven't experienced life. They've just lived
Yeah.
on Twitter, and it shows through their teeth every single time.
Yeah, I mean, they're bullies. I think that's an over generalization, but I think it is more than 70% accurate. And the problem is they're adults. And when you're a kid and you run into a bully on the schoolyard, they push you, they try and hurt you, they mock you, they get people to gang up on you. Boy, where have we seen that before? You know? And the problem is that we're as adults, we can't solve it the way they taught us to do it when I was a little kid in the 70s, which is to hit that son of a bitch as hard as you can right in the nose and take whatever the teacher gives you as punishment, just knowing that that bully will think twice about trying to come after you. The problem is, as adults now, it's generally frowned upon to do that. So, what do? We do the next best thing, which is, like Purple said, try and use humor and mock and shame.
Well, technically, it's only frowned upon if you're not a millionaire black man at a very, very expensive, award ceremony.
Yeah,
In that
Very
case,
good.
it's not
Miller.
frowned upon.
Very
at all,
good.
So.
Very good, sir. Very good. Yeah.
I would also put it out there that they are bullies, absolutely, but I think that these are people who themselves have been bullied and they've got this little taste of power and it's gone to their heads. There's nothing worse than a person who's been bullied who is now on the other side and has the ability to, force their beliefs on other people and belittle them and, get the crowd riled up behind them.
I think there's some value in that. What I dealt and what I saw with it, a lot of it were people that were much more socioeconomically advantaged than I was. We're talking about upper middle income, like very, not super wealthy, but very well off families. They came from, driving secondhand BMWs while I'm driving my 30-year-old piece of shit Subaru with the muffler held on with a coat hanger, and them telling me all about my privilege because I was a white straight male and I'm 6'4" or 5 or whatever it was. And they didn't feel, I had people say this to me in the cafeteria: we don't feel safe with you. You're very intimidating because you laugh too loud. I was told this in 1991, 92, and it's the same bullshit we're seeing on university campuses now. And it's coming from that same place, which is the root origin, which is political correctness. Only now they found a way to monetize this insanity, and the corporations are more than willingly going along with it. Zaxx, go ahead, Max.
Oh, sorry, just real quick, as a kind of a humorous point here. Do you guys remember manspreading? Not mansplaining, manspreading.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Oh yeah.
When you see a male on a train or a bus or whatever, and their legs are separated, and which leaves, allows them to take up more room because men want to be the largest in the room and take up space and occupy land. And I'm just like, dude, no, it's because we have nuts. It's very simple. Like, I just remember that.
It's true.
It's true.
We do. It's true.
This whole phase of people coming in, and there was even a video that I think BuzzFeed made, of course, BuzzFeed, but they were like, this is man spreading, and we need to blah blah blah, and it makes women smaller because women have to be in smaller spaces, and they, blah blah, and men take up too much space, and I'm just like, okay, man. And this was when they were grasping at straws, and people were making fun of that video. But now I don't think that would be the case. Kind of like what you were saying, Corey, is like, people were saying, I'm uncomfortable by your laughter. It's the same thing. I'm uncomfortable by the way you're sitting. Like, what in your right mind would make you think that you are entitled to tell me how I should sit or laugh or anything?
That's what I said 30 years ago. And the other thing I said is, why is your problem my fault? Like, if I'm all the way across the room from you and I'm not doing something intentionally, and if I'm doing something that would be normal under normal circumstances, just because it bothers you doesn't mean it's my fault. Now, if I'm throwing things at you or trying to set you on fire, that's a different story. But it's the God, what is the word? Differentiation. Being able to differentiate yourself from other people and also have possession of your own emotion and your own reactions. It's core and essential to having emotional growth as a child. And I think what we're seeing with a lot of these people, and I know I'm casting a wide net tonight and using overgeneralizations, but I think there's some truth to it, which is that people are projecting things on us that aren't there. And when we tell them they're not there, then they say, see, I told you. And it's like, how the hell do you do battle with that other than call them the lunatics that they are? Really? Zaxx, how is it in Canada? I know it's a paradise. You guys have Justin Trudeau, but do you have to deal with you guys have to deal with any of this stuff?
Well, first, I want to thank Toxic Manflu for his $2 super chat. Max is so manly, he's a strong, independent woman, which is very true. Very true.
Thank you, Tox.
Are you a birthing person, Max? I think that's what Toxic Manflu is really asking.
He's not a biologist, person? That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm not a biologist. However, I think this is a battle of words because independent woman, yes, absolutely. Independent female, I don't know, because then we're getting into biology, boys. And,
I don't know. There should be an X on the end of that woman. Yeah, it's true.
So, but yeah, thanks, Tox. I appreciate it, brother.
I owe Toxic a video. Go ahead, Zaxx. Let me go ahead and do this. Okay, I'm gonna go. Here we go. This is for we run a real professional show here. Toxic. Here you go. Yeah, Elrond. He has sideburns in that movie.
So, he does. And armor.
Kind of in armor. It's true.
And I'm pretty
sure.
He
doesn't look like a... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, I think you were just about to say it. But yeah, he's not... That doesn't look very political. That looks very warlike. He looks like he's almost kind of leading the charge in a battle, not on some pulpit somewhere.
You know, it's weird talking about Elrond because in the Rings of Power, it seems like they're really projecting current day, current year roles. Like they're going to make Elrond like a social media manager, like somehow he's trying to influence politicians. And it's like, no, Elrond was a lot more than that. This is a guy who was fighting wars thousands and thousands of years before we ever meet Bilbo and Frodo, and now suddenly they're changing the character because why? I don't know. It's just, again, all of this just seems like every damn change seems to be ideologically motivated. You know, like you have to be involved in social justice in the second age of Middle Earth. Of course, that's what Elrond would be doing. Do you think they're sitting around a conference room pulling that stuff out of their ass? Because that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Like you say, there is this unwritten tick box, it seems to be, and everybody has to tick off everything on this list. And by God, they're going to do this with this Amazon Lord of the Rings.
And Zaxx, I asked you a question we didn't get to. Let me hit Punk Router real quick. It says, so man spreading, assuming biology. It's true, but much like what was you used a biological term, Max. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Did you say nuts or balls? I forget which one you went with on that.
I believe the correct term was nuts. So
okay, yeah. I mean, you know, I love to mansplain while I'm man spreading and manscaping. And that's when you really can push the patriarchy to 11. That's all that I'm saying. So, yeah, Zaxx, how is it in Canada? I mean, you're our northern neighbor. You are America's hat. Is it just as wild and weird up there, or weirder as some of the stuff going on here?
Well, we prefer to be your beret than your hat, but I'll go with hat. That's okay.
A very jaunty chapeau.
That's right.
Much more formal.
And that's a good way to put it, because formally, I think we're much worse than you guys are because of our federal government and how that goes. And with my job, I had to take a test where you couldn't get any answers, quote unquote, wrong. But the only answers were wrong. So it was things like, how many genders are there? And there was no option that was 2.
Wow.
Yeah, but informally, I think because Canada is a bit more man spread out, and more rural in nature, most places, there's still a chance you might get eaten by something here. So, we still go back to basic biology at some point, where you guys are so condensed you can't get away from it. But here, it's like a thing where when you go to work downtown, there's a lot of it, but when you go back home, it's not really there.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I find really fascinating is when archaeologists dig up skeletons from 1,000 or 20,000 years ago, I have yet to come up with any other genders but male or female. And I don't know, maybe they just haven't dug deep enough yet. Maybe they'll eventually find some of those other genders buried in the ground.
It's
Really.
because they didn't have little badges on them with their pronouns.
Yeah, Stone Age Twitter. That's what it was. Smoke signals.
History is bigoted. Let's just be clear about
It's
that.
true.
And the fact
We
that
need to erase it.
the fact
Yeah.
that these bones don't have any sort of representation is kind of, it's a little much.
Well, in Canada, your car gets stuck all the time. So you need someone to come push you out. And are you going to say, no, you can't push my car because you're a man? And no. And shoveling driveways, same idea. Like, there's a lot of actual physical tasks you got to get done here. And so we're a little bit more open to it. And like I said, there's coyotes in my neighborhood.
Ooh.
I got those too. And the rifle is right where it belongs. But yeah, it's true. We were talking about this and patriarchy and wackadoodles and nuts and all those types of things. And speaking of nuts and not in the man spreading way, but Alyssa Milano actually put out a tweet, I think it was last week, talking about how boys shouldn't be told to take care of their mom and things like that. And you see these things in action where they go and they virtue signal. And in the case of Melissa Milano, who I think is absolutely batshit crazy, in my opinion, she protected all of her tweets, so you can't even respond to her. So they throw this woke manure over the wall, and then they play the victim when we make fun of them. And I think that's what to expect, because part of this dynamic is if we're going to make fun of these things, we have to expect a counterattack. And the counterattack is that they play the victim. And when they play the victim, then they get points in their value system. So I don't know. It's crazy. I don't think we're halfway through it yet. I think there's going to be dark days ahead, but we will get through this. And my hope lies with the people of the generation Zaxx of your son, who are rejecting this nonsense en masse, much in the same way that we did when I grew up in the 80s. We rejected a lot of stuff. Back then, it was the hyper religious right telling us that Dungeons and Dragons and the band Kiss were gateways to letting Satan in the house. And I'm not kidding. It sounds crazy. It doesn't sound any crazier than the bullshit that they're pushing right now. The difference being is that what happened to us, kids weren't able to take things that would permanently change their biology.
Wasn't that during sorry,
yeah,
keep
go ahead.
going.
Oh, no, I'm done. Go ahead.
Was that during the Satanic Panic era? Is that what that was called during that period of time?
Yeah, there were a couple of waves of that. It
Okay.
started out in the late 70s with a lot of the heavy metal stuff and Ozzy Osbourne and Kiss. And then it was early 80s with Dungeons and Dragons, and then the whole Ouija board thing and just all that nonsense. And I told my stories related to that as well. And now here we are. Now it's this. And I used to say this is that people always want to harsh on the people that are religious, and I think that's unfair, because people who are religious are not what caused the hysteria and mania of the Satanic Panic. What caused that was delusion and attention seeking and a sense of moral superiority coupled with delusion and ego. And you could say the exact same thing about what's going on with this woke intersectionalist insanity. It's driven by the need for relevance and also for ego and some type of weird messiah complex.
Very very well spoken, man. Because I mean, I'll even say that I've known Christians throughout my walk as a Christian, and as someone who I can say has gone through some ups and downs with my beliefs and you know, the organization of the Christian church, right? You know, like organized
Mhm.
religion. And you see that all the time as the virtue
Oh, yeah.
signaling Christian is the one who's like you know, plastering it to the masses, going, look at how great I am, look at how much I'm praying, and look at how much. And then the next weekend you see
Yes.
them in jail, you know, or you see them,
Yes.
so, you know. And so it's the same thing. There still are terrible people that are, it's the wolves in sheep's clothing message that
Yes.
you see at church, that preach and virtue signal and have these pseudo moralistic values, but internally there is nothing there, or you know, all the facade is actually covering something very sinister. And now, I mean, like, you look at someone like Joel Osteen, who, in my opinion,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know him,
Oh,
is
yeah.
this, you know, mass. He gets hundreds of thousands of people who he's able to manipulate to give him money for the sake of God, right?
Mhm.
And for me as a Christian, it's embarrassing. So I
Mhm.
couldn't imagine what people who are actually in the LGBTQ community, or the you know, who are people of color, and they see this and they go, I am legitimately embarrassed or ashamed, because I see
Yeah.
some Christians do some heinous acts, and I go, man, this is an L. You know, this is a lot. Like, this is a
Yeah.
big L on our part. This is not good. This is not a good look, guys. So yeah, like you were saying, man, there are people, excuse me, during that whole era, you know, in 80s or 90s, that virtue signal, it's the same thing, but at least now we're able to call it out and recognize it for what it was. Whereas a lot of these people now aren't calling it out. They're not recognizing it. They're just thinking it is normalcy.
Yeah. I think that the more troubling thing around Christianity is the corporatization and the corporatization of Christianity, where you have these mega churches that are put in malls that all have brands and they all have logos and they're all invested in, and and the messaging is pretty damn woke, and it seems really kind of like it is grooming people of faith to accept things that if you actually read the book by which the religion is based on, especially the New Testament, it is not anything like that at all. But this is not a religious channel. And I just bring that up because I think it's important to acknowledge all facets of society and culture. Pop culture and our entertainment is incredibly important, but so is faith. We can have faith only in certain systems. We can have faith in money. We can have faith in the government, which I think is insane. And we can have faith in churches. You know, churches with the more corporatized, the more centralized, the less diverse in organic, meaning diverse, meaning small, independent, the more likely it is that you're going to get a packaged message which is meant to socially engineer, just like with Disney, with Netflix. To me, they're all kind of aligned, and I've read a lot of articles that would seem to indicate that they absolutely are aligned toward the same end. But yeah.
And yeah, and I do, you know, this isn't a Christian channel, like you said, so I do apologize for kind of going into more detail or going
No,
into more
don't
depth.
apologize.
But
Don't apologize. Please
okay,
don't apologize. Never apologize for your faith. Never apologize for your experience.
I
No,
appreciate it,
I'm
man.
the
Thank
son of
you.
a pastor, dude. No, I'm a son of a pastor.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
I know it all, and I've had my
Yeah.
ups and my downs, and I've come to a place where for me, I don't need to be in with a large group of people who all think and act the same way.
Mhm.
And yet on the weekend, like you said, they're out swapping wives and betting on horses and beating their children. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but you can say that about any faith. You know, it's not just Christianity that has its hypocrites. There are several large religious groups, especially those from the Middle East, that have just as
Mhm.
much hypocrisy, but we can't say that on this channel. So guys, we've been going close to
Hold on.
3.5 hours. What you got, Zaxx?
Max, if you apologize one more time on this show, I'm going to give you a Canadian passport.
What is that? Is that a sex act or something? What is a Canadian
Yes.
passport?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Or let's find out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
oh,
like a
because
dirt-
Canadians say sorry all the time. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
I was gonna say it's like a dirty Sanchez, only with maple syrup. You won't
There,
like it.
yep,
So,
there.
there you
That's
go.
what it is.
Oh, the mental
Well,
images.
I was about to apologize for apologizing, so I will shut up now.
You're almost apologizing as much as I do. You don't know how much Zaxx yells at me for apologizing, and yeah. Guys, we have had a fantastic show. We are going on 3.5 hours, and has ever, and I say this before every show, about an hour before the show, and I'm like, what the hell do we have to talk about? And here we are, and we have talked about some really great things. I have had so much fun tonight. I want to thank you, Max and Purple and Zaxx, in the chat, and my channel members, my people that are lurking, and the Taveran as well. You guys, I love doing this. I am honored that you are here tonight. Thank you for supporting the channel with your comments, with your super chats, with your channel memberships. Thank you. Let's go around the horn, if that's okay with you guys, and let's talk about something we're grateful for, because that's one of these things that really brings me a lot of joy and I like doing with you. Let's start with Max. Just to put you on the spot, brother, what are you grateful for that you want to share with people in chat tonight in this panel?
I am thankful for the support that I have received, not just on here, online, on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, at all. But I'm also very grateful for my family who supports me. My parents are whether, but I could literally be begging for food on the side of the street, and they would be asking me, "Hey, did you make any money today?" You know, like that's the type of support that they show, and it is unbelievable. So you know, I made 1,000 subs. I'm not kidding, dude. They seriously, you know, whatever it is that I'm doing, they support it, and it's been very to have that as my backup, is kind of my lamp, my lampshade in the middle of the night, has been very you know, honoring and just very comforting. So to have that, as well as the support that I get here online, because this place can be absolutely cancerous, you know, Twitter and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So to have like
yeah.
seen the good side of the internet with such like great family members here has been just absolutely, like I said earlier, so humbling. So that is what I'm grateful for.
That's great stuff. Purple, what are you grateful for tonight?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you guys for being an amazing panel. As always, love getting to do these Tuesday night shows. They're just getting bigger and better, and we've got an amazing chat, and you guys are on fire. So thank you. Thank you so much, guys. What am I grateful for? Well, I'm grateful to be part of this community. Grateful to have so many incredible people that I can call friend. And I'm grateful that I've kind of found a groove again with my channel. Doing these live reviews, it's kind of rekindled and it reminded me why I wanted to start the channel in the first place. So I'm having a lot of fun at the moment.
That's fantastic. Amen to that. And for those of you in chat, some inside baseball, Purple didn't think she would make it maybe an hour or two. She was tired. And you guys, that's a true story. I'm not lying. And here Purple is 3.5 hours later, still going strong. And it's because of you in chat. Yes, Toxic Man Flu, you're on fire. Maybe grab a fire extinguisher. Just saying. But no, you guys really do energize us. So yeah, no,
it's true.
Great take, Purple. Zaxx, what about you, my Canadian brother? What are you grateful for?
I'm thankful for all the snow that we still have up here. But actually, I'm thankful for everyone who's in the chat and who's I've been making videos, and yeah, most of them are basically videos I took from other people, but I'm thankful for you guys watching them and for comments, and it's actually a lot of fun, really, this whole YouTube thing. So I really appreciate you guys and the chat. You guys are amazing. Like tonight was one of the best ones I think we've ever had. Just we get to have these 4-hour-long conversations about stuff that we like with people who care about the same stuff as we do. Like what else is better than that? You can't get that anywhere else.
I know.
So it's awesome. And I'm thankful to my wife for letting me do this.
Thank you, Mrs. Zaxx. Yeah, thank you. I should probably send her a card or something. And no, Zaxx, thanks for making the time. It's always fun when I try and talk to Zaxx and he's giving one of his children, he's giving his son a bath, and they're splashing and yelling and screaming, and that's just Zaxx. So yeah, hail to you, brother. Thanks for making the time. What am I grateful for? I am grateful for a great many things that people already said, but it bears worth repeating. I am grateful to everybody on this chat. You guys have made my Tuesday night. We put a lot of work into this show, and you guys absolutely blow it up, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You have made this so much fun and so engaging. I appreciate your humor, your friendship, your support, your brilliance, and your raw takes. It really makes us laugh, and I am so incredibly grateful. Also, I'm incredibly grateful to my dog. My dog, when I get too serious and I start getting in my head, my dog walks up to me with a squeaky rubber dinosaur.
Oh, the
and
dinosaur. Yes, that was so cute.
you saw,
Yes,
yeah.
on Twitter.
And he paws me and reminds me that you need to stop reading the news. You need to stop thinking about what's on your phone, and you need to go play in the yard, and you need to go to the dog park, and you need to feed the dog ice cream, which you shouldn't get. But I'm really grateful to my dog. His name is Hank. I put pictures of him on Twitter sometimes, but pets are a beautiful thing. And Max, you have your cat cam with your awesome cat with his totally hipster purple monkey for bed, and I get it, brother. I really do. I have an 80-pound husky healer mix who is kind of a problem, but I wouldn't have it any other way. But you guys, thank you for another incredible Tuesday night. Thank you for the super chats, the comments, for liking and sharing the videos, for being here for us. Thank you.
Yes, and we get to do it all over again tomorrow. Looking forward to that so much.
Good call. This is the new show. We wanted to record the first one. That would be what we called the Woo Woo Show. Like I said, it does have a new name. It's called Phenomenal. It has a new title. We're going to be covering a variety of articles that have come out in the last 2 weeks around UFOs with photographic evidence from Alaska, as well as things that have been recently declassified by the United States Department of Defense. So this isn't people throwing frisbees that are painted silver in their backyard. This is some cool stuff. It's going to be a short show, probably about an hour or so. So join us tomorrow night if you'd like. Hang out talking about crazy things that who knows, you know? Anything before we go you want to remind anybody what you got coming up this? I know, Max, you have a bunch going on this week, brother. Where are you going to be next?
Real quick, tomorrow night, 6:00, Poor Choices, X-Ray Girl, Tugs, Chris Gore, me. We're talking 90 Day Fiance. Get drunk and come hang out with us. It's going to be wild. Wild.
Can I drink and mock you? Is that allowed? Because, dude, are you watching that show?
Please do. And I have no shame in saying that, yes, I'm watching that show. Gary on Friday Night Tights admonished me. He was like, I want nothing to do with him anymore. No. But he was, yeah, because X-Ray Girl.
You're a birthing person, dude. You were talking about nuts. You're a birthing person.
Exactly.
What the hell are you talking about?
I shouldn't be watching this show, but I do. I understand that most of it is very scripted and produced and edited, but it's very entertaining, unfortunately. So I've been watching the show, and the girls over at Geeks and Gamers and Poor Choices, they wanted Chris Gore and myself on to get a male perspective on this show. So we're going to be talking about that. And
you gotta bring the nuts and mansplain. That's why you're there. Mansplain and nuts. Yep.
The MV penis will be out, and it will be glorious. I will probably have a few drinks because that will make I'm on a show called Pour Choices, Pour, like wine pour. And X-Ray Girl and Tugs are just hilarious. So Joe, I would highly encourage you to go watch 90 Day Fiance. It's wild. It's a wild experience. But
I'm gonna need to check your man card after this, Max, because if it's covered in pink glitter and it smells like cosmopolitans, I don't know. We're gonna have a talk about this. That's all that I'm saying. So
I fully embrace that I watched the show, but yeah, call me out if you guys start seeing some fishy stuff. But it'll be a fun night.
Yeah.
You guys can meme me during the show, and it'll be great.
Oh, thank you. I will. Purple, what do you got going on? You got a show tomorrow, don't you?
I do, absolutely. Yep, 10 a.m. Central, as per usual tomorrow. And we've got Mexican Iron Man joining us. So we've got Rise with Mexican Iron Man. Looking forward to getting to chat with him. And then Friday, we've got a show as well. We've got Phoenix Press, who's going to be joining, and we're going to be talking about the state of the comic book industry and all that fun stuff.
That sounds great. Really. Purple, it's so great. I love the guests that you have on. Sil Abdul is so fantastic. Mexican Iron Man is going to be a blast.
Yes,
great work.
Joining
Seriously.
Sil on Thursday as well. Good call. Thank you.
And we'll have to work out a bet between who of us is going to hit to 2000 first. I know it's going to be you. But,
no, it's going to be you. As soon as you put out another Lord of the Rings
dude,
video.
imagine if you and I do it on the same day. That would be hysterical. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, Zaxx, what do you got going on? What's the next video you're going to be working on? That Tessa Thompson Academy Award moment reel that you've been talking about?
I am looking at doing some coverage for a show called Outer Range. I've never done reviews, but I do like this show, and not a ton of people are talking about it. So, and Salty knows I'm looping him in on this one, and I'm going to probably talk to Flaccid Phoenix about it too.
Outer Range is a good show. I'm not a nice person, and I was prepared to be disappointed, but I got to tell you, the first 2 episodes pretty damn good. And I have never watched an episode of Yellowstone, so when people say it's like Yellowstone, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's a good show.
So
check it out if you have it.
I've heard really good things about it, so it's one I'm going to check out on the weekend, I think.
Cheers. There we go. Wumba Trumpa, great to see you, brother. We were on Nerdporial's channel. You guys in chat, we still have 25 people. You guys are crazy. Thank you so much. We have nearly 50 likes. This has been an amazing show, an amazing chat. We also have Matthew Machu. Great to see you. Super late, brother. Catch us on the replay. It's great to see you, though. What is it? It's almost 11 o'clock Central here, and for Purple, it's probably 5 o'clock in the morning. So we need to split. You all, thank you again. Fantastic time, brilliant show, great takes. I'm honored to work with you. Hail the chat. You all have a great rest of the week.
Good night.
See you later. As ever, this is Salty Texas C. I am Corey DB. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you've seen and heard, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you on board. That way you know. And we have things like live streams, which we are going to be doing every Tuesday evening. Take care. I hope you're having a great 2022.